Hello, everyone. Welcome. Just give me a second. I gotta readjust my audio. Not sure if you guys are getting the repeat. If you're not, let me know. 'Cause I can't hear myself, so. So, all right. So we've got Tony Tarantulas, Stefan Hotup, Ellie's Bug Babies, and Ophi's dad from Ophi's Spider-Verse in here with us this evening. We're waiting for Jade's Jungles to jump on. So I think I'll hit the copy and clip. All right, good. There we go. Oh, so as we wait for people to come in, I hope everybody's doing well this evening here on Exotics Radio Podcast. I am Crax, your host. Got a couple of concerns I'll voice a little bit later. We've got some interesting stories that happened throughout the week, and we've got Jade Jungle as soon as she gets here. Ellie. Ellie's jumping in on Opie's dad already. I can see that already. That's so nice. So I sent the link for Jade when she gets here. I know she was busy trying to get everything ready. Let me see. Get that radio voice on. Oh, Tony is not going to leave that one down. But ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked out Tony's Tarantulas, go check out Tony's Tarantulas. Really good. He's got a very deep baritone voice. It's something you probably fall asleep to with the right content. Kind of like Morgan Freeman's. Just on a little higher. Oh, we're all good here. So again, we're waiting for Jade's Jungle to come on. Tony's so cool. Yeah, no, it was actually pretty cool for him to hang out. Jade's Jungle finally come in.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
The bunny lady's here.
The bunny lady.
That's why my nieces have lovingly dubbed you.
I decided to be brave and put the camera on.
Oh, that's good. I see you've got a lot of critters in the background. Do you mind telling us what you got in the back?
Yeah, so this row is mostly tarantulas across there. And then I've got some leaf insects in the back. Not that you can see, let me turn my camera. Leaf insects there. This one's empty because it's going to be a crested gecko. Got a praying mantis in that one. And then you can't see, but down here I've got a vinegaroon and another tarantula, and then the snails are on the bottom.
So how long have you been keeping strange and odd animals? Because you've got everything from the fuzzies to the scalies to basically no scales and just the 8 legs. So you've got everything across the board, and no legs. You got the no legs as well. Yeah. So how long have you been keeping animals?
Not too long really. I had like guinea pigs and rabbits and stuff when I grew up, so I've had those like forever. But with the creepy crawlies and stuff, it was only in the past 3-4 years that I've had them, so not too long really, to be fair.
Oh wow, that's actually pretty cool. Now, I want to highlight to everybody that you have an extensive educational background in a couple of things, and you also worked as a veterinarian assistant. So you know a bit about animals.
15 or 16
I'm sorry, say again?
I was probably about 15 or 16 when I was a little assistant. It's quite a long time ago.
Now, how many animals, in total, how many animals do you have now?
It's hard to say because I have like hissing cockroaches and stuff, which have like 100 babies at a time.
Yeah, we'll skip the insect version of the cockroaches and the feeders. We'll skip all the feeders.
Okay, right. So per enclosure, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 enclosures, and then I've got 2 rabbits as well. So it's 15, I guess, overall. But in some enclosures, like I've got a couple of snails in one, so it's not just like the same animals, I suppose.
No.
Individual.
No. Now, you know, I have to ask, where did you get the idea of putting a ball pit for bunnies? Because that was actually quite inventive.
I don't know. We had like a ball pit at home, so I was just like, you know what, the rabbits would like to dig in that, so I just put it to the rabbits.
Well,
That,
from what I understood. Oh,
that
go
is a
ahead.
very old one. That was like one of my first ones, I think, wasn't
Well, you have to understand that I had nieces help.
it?
So they were like, "Oh, look at this! This is really cool."
Yeah.
No, my question to you is because using ball pits is actually used for therapy, not just for rabbits, but for other digging animals. You know, because if they have a rehabilitation of some sort, they actually have to, you know, get into the digging mode, if you want to put it that way, without actually hurting themselves. And ball pits are just excellent for that. With a great reward on the bottom, like you've done. You know, so my question to you was, what were you using? Was it just because it wasn't just carrots? It was something else.
I've got no idea. I can't remember now. What were it was probably pellets. I think probably like slices
I
of
think it was
carrots.
pellets.
Yeah, probably some rabbit pellets I've like sprinkled in. They had to like dig through to try and get them. I hadn't actually tried it recently. I should probably try again, but I don't have any ball pit balls now because I've moved into my own house. So I had a little sister that had the ball pit, so I don't have the balls anymore.
Hey, well, that still works out though. No, snails. You know, I have to talk about the number one. They're like the demon children of Sweden. In Sweden, you're not allowed to have them because somebody
Yeah.
has, and now they run rampant everywhere, and they're chewing up farm fields and everything else.
Mhm.
And then
I
there's
think
the Spanish snail, which is like right behind it.
I think the top 100 most invasive species in the world. But it's okay in the UK because we get such cold temperatures that they can't sort of eradicate everything here because we're good. So we're allowed to keep them, which is quite nice.
Well, you paused there. You had a little pause
Oh,
and jerk there.
sorry. I said
No,
because in the UK it freezes every winter, they'll all die. So it's all right because we can keep those. That's pretty good. But yeah, they're really invasive, aren't they?
yes. Well, the thing is, we have the cold temperatures,
Hmm.
uh, but we don't have. I guess it doesn't. Here we have the cold temperatures and it snows and it freezes, so you won't find them up basically past where I live. But if you go further south, you will always find them everywhere. Every time there's a spring and summer. And it's
Hmm.
like, how do you guys live? Now, the problem with them is they're getting into the buildings and the eggs are surviving, you know, in the crevices and all of that because you have to remember we run hot water under our streets.
Yeah.
So they found a way.
Take over. Yes, I can see that as well because obviously I've got the pets in like the tanks and stuff, but they lay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eggs all
Mhm.
the time. So I can imagine they'll just go out of control.
Yeah, the thing is, here you can't even run during the springtime without crunching on a snail. It's
Oh,
like, oh no, no, because you know you the creepy crawly part of me that wants to say, oh, you poor baby, and then the other part of me like, why are you even here?
yeah.
So it's like, you know, a battle every time I decide to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also toxic to the dogs, believe it or not, if dogs decide to eat them. So that's
Lungworm, I think, isn't it? That's a big
yeah.
problem with them.
But I did have to ask, do you do selling? Do you do any? Because you got a lot of snails.
Sorry, you cut out there. What did you ask?
Do you do sales? Do you sell them,
Oh
or
no, I don't sell them. No.
because you get a bunch of them?
Yeah. At the moment, what I do is you get the eggs because they lay so many. You crush them up, and it's called like an omelette for your snails. So you give it back to the snails, and they eat it and they enjoy it. So that's what I do for mine. It sounds quite cruel, but you know I can't keep hundreds and hundreds of snails.
It's just like, okay, that was total. That took a turn for the unexpected. So
Yeah.
let me say hello to our. We've got an extensive audience tonight. We've got Ellie Bug Babies, Moon Over Miami, Spider Mom 1978. We have Tony's Tarantulas. Lincoln Alvarado has just also joined us. And further above, we have Anton and, of course, you know, Opie Spider versus Dad and Stefan Horup. So far, that's just about everybody in the chat right now who's talking. I don't know who else is listening because there's more people listening.
Hello, everyone.
So, okay. Now you have to tell us the stories. So what was the most embarrassing or flop that you've done? The reason why I ask people is because I want the audience to know people with extensive experience also makes mess ups. We have our mishaps.
What do you mean? Like most embarrassing?
Yeah, a funny story with a happy ending. I don't want any. We'll not talk about the bad stories with the bad endings.
You put me on the spot. I don't really know any fails or embarrassing stories. Try and think of one.
Oh, what do you think of?
It's probably, well, when you get rabbits, you get a lot of damage. And when I was in the student house, the guy said that rabbits was fine, although they literally ate the wall, and I don't know why, but they just chewed through the wall. I just came home one day and there was a big hole in the wall. So that's probably one of the biggest fails. Ended up repairing that though, so it's fine. But like,
Did the rabbits they didn't get sick or anything?
no, it was absolutely fine. Just happy with themselves for destroying the wall. But it's just so random because I obviously had them in a house for like their entire life, and then one day they just climbed through the wall for no reason. And I have to be cold in a rented house as well. But luckily the landlord came and fixed it, and I was really apologetic. But he sort of renovated the house anyway, so he knew how to fix it. But
I imagine that was a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I have rabbits that chew through your wall. Do you mind coming over and fixing it?
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Oof. So anything with your tarantulas or anything? Rehousing?
I've lost the OBT in an air hockey table before, which was a bit. So we because I moved into this house and my mum didn't like the sort of tarantulas and stuff, so they had to be kept outside. And we had a sort of air hockey table in storage, but we'd put like a towel over it, so I used it as a table. And I think I've got some videos on my channel, so you can like go back and see what that room kind of looked like. But the table was actually an air hockey table, so I had the container on top of the table, and I was like doing the water and stuff, and I just rehoused the OBT so it didn't have sort of webbing or anything, and usually it would just stay inside its webbing. So as I'm trying to like do things, it bolts up, out, and into the air hockey table through the little holes at the side, and I was just stood there like,
did that just really happen?
How are you going to get that out of the table? I don't. Well, yeah, it was inside, and then what I did was got a toilet roll tube, and I was able, because it's like quite bendy, to like slide it through the hole and get the OBT to run in the toilet roll tube, and then I just had it, and then I put it back in the cage. But I have no idea why I thought it was a good idea to put it on that table, but it's alright. It worked out in the end.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well.
So what's your embarrassing story then, and your accident?
I have several of those. Where do I start? We can start with the molt that I thought was one of my tarantulas. Scared the hell out of me. We can also talk about how I was trying to rehouse my Cambergy, or Cambergy. Some people pronounce it both. I pronounce it Cambergy. But anyways, I was rehousing her, and I was like, oh, she's always been really good. She won't bolt on me. Well, I'll just put the box halfway into the enclosure and kind of use the brush to kind of push her. She'll be fine. Now, mind you, her name is Heart Attack, and her name is Heart Attack for a reason. It's because, every time it's feeding time, she'd just jump out of her hole like like the hand, like the zombie coming out of the dirt and then grabbing whatever's there and then pulling it underneath. And like all of those horror stories. And it would always make me jump no matter how used to it I know, and I know it's coming, kind of thing, but it always happens. But anyways, yeah, I decided to try to rehouse her that way, and nope, she wasn't having it. She decided to go up the brush, up my arm, and then, of course, being arboreal, she jumps on the door of the enclosure. The outside version, not the inside where I can just close it. No, no. I was like, really? And then she's like, I'm hanging out here. Screw you. So I put a cup around her and I kind of move her. She goes around the edge. And of course, I'm thinking, oh, well, now this is going to be awkward because I can't close the door with the cup still there. I have to kind of, take the cup out and then close the door. No, her and I decided to go around and around about 3 times before she decided to stay inside her enclosure.
Oh, no.
That was fun.
I've only got one old world tarantula, so I've only ever got stories with the OBT. But I couldn't imagine having a few different old worlds or anything. Is Cambridgei, is that a old world?
That's a new world.
New world.
Yeah, it's an arboreal new world. See, I like the spicy ones. Oh, I've noticed OBTs have this really bad reputation for being, overly offensive. It's not defensive anymore. It turns into offensive, and I think people forget what the words mean when you say a tarantula is defensive versus offensive. And old worlds always tend to be defensive. They, if you back them into the corner, then they want to go into their threat pose. They want to protect their area because they have nowhere to go. So they've already tried to run from you a couple times. That's a defensive. So when people talk about all of these stories about OBT coming out of the hole and be like, I'm going to kill you. It's like, what did you do to make it come out like that? So is your OBT like that?
No, my OBT is like a little rock. I hardly ever see it, and when I do, it's because it's hungry and it sticks its little legs out, grabs something and goes back in its hole. It's not, the only time that it ran out was that time that I'd only just rehoused it and it didn't put down its webbing yet, so it wasn't really comfortable, I suppose, and then I was like digging around trying to do like food and water, and then it bolted, but since then, no, it's perfectly fine. They have a bad reputation, but to be fair, it's pretty good one.
No, like I said, it's but like I said, all the OBTs that I've known, the only reason why when people ask me, well, then why do I not own one, is because no interest. Everybody has one. Like, if I want to see an OBT, I can just flip on a switch and go anywhere YouTube. I want the tarantulas that I can't really find that much of. And almost always seems like it'd be a new world, because the new worlds aren't so as hot as most people make them out to be. But yeah, no, they are way hotter. They're way more feisty and spicy.
What's your most rare or favorite tarantula then?
I'm gonna use some common terms, probably because I butcher the scientific name, but I have a blue fang. I would say she's probably the rarest one that I have. But remember, I live in Sweden, so I have a direct line to one of the biggest distributors in Europe. So if I want something, I can just wait until it comes onto their so the blue fang is probably my rarest. My favorite, though, that's really hard to say, because I wouldn't have them if I didn't want them. But the one that touched me the most would probably be my Regalis, Izzy. Probably because my very first tarantula was an actual Pokiatheria. I know people pronounce it Posi. I'm just going to Pokey. My P. Regalis. She was under special circumstances, and I would never recommend an old world, very fast tarantula that has a psychotic. Once in a while, will have a psychotic episode. They're known to be docile one day, the next day they try to eat you. So yeah, no, I really wouldn't recommend that as your first tarantula, but under certain circumstances, she became my first tarantula. And she came from the era where wild caught, was pretty much the only way you would get them. And so does that mean I support wild caught? Absolutely not. I'm very much of an advocate of controlled breeding and then, selling into the public. But the Regalis, I would have to say, because he was my first tarantula getting back into the hobby. And a Pokiatheria was my first tarantula getting into the hobby. So, and it just happened to be Regalis. So I'd say the Regalis is a little more special in that regard. But when it comes down to it, who's my favorite? I really don't have one, because they all have their own special little attitude that I just absolutely love. Yeah. And if they're having a good day or a bad day, or so. Now, what about you?
I don't have any rare tarantulas. They're all very, very common because I got most of them as slings. The only one I didn't get as a sling is an Alphanapalma cowcodes, and that's because I could not for life of me find any breeders for a very long time for one, and so I just bought that one from the spider shop. But the rest, I've got an OBT, a Nandu colorato villosum. I think, is it Nandu colorato villosum or Nandu colorato villosus?
Good question.
And then I've got a Brachypalma humori, which is actually the most skittish one of all of the tarantulas that I have, which is funny. And you can actually see, I don't know if that's on you might not be able to see that. That's a Chaco Golden Knee there. I don't know. Oh no, the reflections on it. Maybe if I can try and.
Well, if you just hold your hand over it like a curtain. Oh, there you go.
You can
that works.
kind of see it.
Oh, hello.
Sort of in there, so.
Oh, you have some
That's
beautiful
a Chaco Golden Knee.
See, I don't have a golden knee. I missed out on that one. But you have some really nice setups.
Oh, thank you. The LP's down here, but you probably won't be able to see it because it's in a big burrow.
Oh, so your LP is just like mine, takes up the whole shelf pretty much.
Yeah. I think it's a 55-litre tank or a 15-gallon in sort of US measurement.
Right now she's big enough to be in a 45 by 45 by 45. I don't know what that is in inches. Oh, you froze. Yep, I think we lost her for a brief moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was saying that's what my LP's in the 40 by.
Okay, you're slowly catching up.
Am I back yet?
Kind of. Oh, nope, it's all right. Maybe?
It's okay?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a... Oh, there we go. Hey, all right, now you're back.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, nope, no, you're not back. It decided to freeze again. It's like every other word you're freezing. Okay. Let us know when you're back.
Back? Am I back?
Yes, you're back. The video needs to sync up. It was that one thing, it's another.
I'll try turning off the camera. Okay, does that work better? Is it not lagging?
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, that's better then. Can you hear me properly with the headphones? Because I don't know if it's like rubbing on my clothes.
Oh, I can hear you properly. Is anybody else having any issues?
Good.
Yeah. Let me turn you up just a hair. Try that.
Yeah, is that okay?
Okay, there we go. Now I see green. I see little green lights when it says that you're speaking high enough.
Good. I should really invest in a microphone, but I've just not got around to it yet.
Scott's Animal Adventure says 18 by 18. I don't know what that. I think he did inches. Because, like I said, I did 45 centimeters, 45 by 45 by 45. And that's what she's in now. And because I'm looking for something bigger, but the problem is COVID and shipping. So I want her to have like the whole bottom shelf just all to herself. So, cause she's so big right now. I was like, she needs it.
That would look nice. I've got a 2-foot vivarium for a couple of my full-grown tarantulas because my LP's only quite small at the moment. But the Aphanapalma calcode has got a 60 by 40 by 40.
Oh wow!
And then the flat rock scorpion as well.
Wait, did you just say you have a scorpion?
Mhm.
Oh, I got a story for you, and then I want to get your opinion.
Okay.
Well, a friend of mine who works at a pet store, You know where the story's going to go. A customer had brought in. No, I thought it was a friend, but apparently it was a customer. And she was supposed to go get it, but they brought it into her shop anyways. They sent her a bunch of pictures and some video of a scorpion that had come in on their shipping crate, and it was a shipping crate full of bananas. Now we don't know the origin of the country. Let's put that right now. And so they brought it in, and of course her boss fell in absolute love with it, and decided to set it up with basically a pet keeper, a creep. I think it's like some sort of keeper. But anyways, they gave her the substrate, gave her the hide, gave her the water dish, gave her the whole works for this thing. And then, of course, I'm trying to figure out what it is, and I'm thinking this pretty much looks like. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, is this really a Death Stalker? Could this? No, Death Stalker has a six band and then a smooth tail. And I'm sitting here thinking, which one is this one? Because this one doesn't. Because there's alarms going in the back of my head, so I sent a message to Bailey's bug blog and said, hey, here's a tarantula, or not tarantula, here's a picture of a scorpion. What is it? And he started going, he asked a bunch of questions, and he goes, I bet you it's part of the bute, the fat tail family, the fat tail bark scorpion.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, because it's we don't have the DWA here. Do you have to have a DWA over there for your scorpions? For you, I'm talking about you, because I don't know where you live in the UK. I'm not sure if it's everything across the board in the UK, or if it's.
You do if it's medically significant, I think. Like if it's really venomous, you would need a DWA because it's like dangerous, isn't it? But for my flat rock scorpion, the sting is equivalent of a nettle. So it's only really dangerous if you're allergic to it or anything like that. So I don't need one, because if it stung me, I would just say ow, and that would be the end of it. But I suppose if it's like really potent, then you probably would. Yeah, I don't know what specific list there is, but I know there's a list on the government website that you can check, see if you need a license for it. So I guess you just check on there to make sure it's all right.
Yeah, no, as I say, here in Sweden, we don't have. But the DWI is pretty much. No, we do have something similar for the extreme. And believe it or not, the king cobra is not what they would consider extreme. And as the system says, if you're an adult and you own one of these, that's on you. But I did find out, though, because I was thinking, oh, we don't really have those restrictions. No, we do. You have to actually be 18 or older to be able to own any of these animals. And of course, the only issue we run into is it possibly needing to be turned over to the authorities because it's undocumented coming across the border.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the only problem. I was like, yeah, but who's going to say, hey, who's going to ask, where did you get this or the scorpion, and prove it? Yeah. I mean, especially with all of the individual sales going on right now.
Yeah. My scorpion's not too bad. You can actually handle her if you wanted. She just walks on your end.
No. Oh, that sounds really cute. Oh. I wish I could handle some babies, but all mine are kind of like, no, with a firm in.
Yeah. So most of my tarantulas would not want to, so I wouldn't do that with them. But the Ephenopelma calicodes would, if he was, being safe and all that. But yeah, the flat rock scorpion, perfectly happy too. So the leaf insects and the praying mantis and the vinegaroon.
No, my little niece just got it a few months ago, around Christmas time. Had got into walking sticks, the stick insect. Mm-hmm. And of course, she set up this really nice, elaborate setup for the two. And of course, no babies, no nothing yet. We don't even know if really how to sex them or anything like that in that regard. But is there any advice you could give her? Because right now she's going to the pet store, she's buying the food and stuff from the pet store, but her family wants her to find something a little cheaper because, going to the flower shop and going to the pet store at the same time to buy food for a stick figure is a little expensive.
Yeah. I just go and get brambles from the park. Well, it's not like it's like a field, but it's not really a park. It's kind of like a woodland. It's just somewhere that the pesticides aren't sprayed, so then I can bring it back home, and then I just wash it and then put it through my leaf insects. It
You
depends
would
what they
really
eat, I
like it.
suppose.
I was gonna
So
say you would really like it here in Sweden. You're
yeah.
not allowed to spray pesticides unless it's an absolute need.
Oh, it's very good.
And then you have to jump through a bunch of hoops. We're too environmentally or subconscious about that. So it's like if it's not good for the environment, if something's going to get infected by what you put out there, you have to jump through a bunch of hoops. It's bad enough when people can't even get permission to spray for ants that are invading their house and destroying their home,
Yes.
or even the termites. Pick one. They can't spray for it because they can't qualify for it. They live too close to a water source, or they live too close to a park.
Mm-hmm.
It's that bad. I was like, my sister has to put up with this right now because she lives. The bike trail is literally, I would say, like 4 or 5 steps from the back of her fence. It's not like her house is on the fence. Her house, I mean, this is a good distance at a yard. I mean, she's got a couple of apple trees, a work shed, and still enough for a huge ass trampoline. So it's not like she's like close to the path, but no, because her property borders near that path, she can't have it sprayed. She can't do anything abrasive chemically to her home, so that she has to put this dust down around her house that's made of natural rock. Is it rock? I think. But basically, when the animals or when the ants or whatever crawl over it, it pierces the carapace or pierces the exoskeleton.
Yeah, I can't remember what
So
that's called, but I know what you mean.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would really like it here in Sweden, then, because if you're stick insects, stick figures. Wow, listen to me talk. I swear it's not the whiskey that I'm sipping on right now. But I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking that people can't take care of the houses, but I understand the need because we are kind of landlocked. We need to pay attention to what's going on with our fish. We need to pay attention to what's going on to the berries, because we have a lot of laws that if say you find raspberries or something growing near somebody's property, you could actually go and pick it, and you don't need to get permission.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous here. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of on the one end, like I said, if you own stick insects, it's great. You go outside,
Yeah.
pluck, feed them,
No
but
fear.
no fear whatsoever, except for maybe the mites, because you can't really spray.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
there's some invasive critters that might come in. And Spider Mom 1978 says, "Home sweet home." Oh, so now, what kind of advice can you give for somebody who wants to get bunny rabbits, or maybe guinea pigs? You said you own guinea pigs.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get guinea pigs tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm so excited.
I saw the guinea pig house. I saw the guinea pig house.
Yeah. So I'm rehoming 3 of them, and hopefully they're coming tomorrow. But because I'm doing like a rehome thing, it's never 100%. Like they could just change their mind last minute or whatever. But hopefully tomorrow I'll have some guinea pigs. I'm very excited.
Aww. Tell us about it. Tell us more about the situation. Come on, spill the beans. Don't hold back. Don't be shy.
It's just the actual rehome. She sounds like she really looks after them and really likes them, but she just can't look after them anymore. So I said I'll take them in. I've been looking for a guinea pig for such a long time. So I asked the rescues at first if they needed any fosters, because I wanted to sort of be in the rescue scene and help as many as possible. But they all said, because I contacted about 4 or 5, if they needed a fosterer, and every single one said no because they weren't busy enough. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to get my own then. So when I started trying to look and get my own, I looked into the rescues, which had no guinea pigs available. There was a few on Pregnancy Watch, so you could get guinea pigs in a few months if they were pregnant, but there was no guarantee that they were going to have babies or anything. And then I had messaged a few people on sort of, we have a website called like Pre-Loved and Pets for Homes and stuff like that, which is where people who have pets that don't want them anymore, they can put them up online and stuff. So I'd messaged a few people on them. A few people had said yes, I agree, and then just ghosted me and not updated me on anything like that. And then so finally, these people have said yes, looks like a good home. We're going to come tomorrow. So hopefully they turn up. But I've not had a good track record so far, I have to admit.
Oh, I wish the best of luck for you. I really do. So, so I know it kind of gets kind of cold where you're at. Does that play a part in owning these animals, or is it okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of people do have outside guinea pigs year round because our temperatures are kind of mild, and a lot of people think that guinea pigs they need like really high temperatures, but they kind of come from high altitude, so our climate would be okay as long as you gave them additional heat, like heat pads or a radiator in the shed and stuff. But personally, I prefer to bring them inside. So from April to September, where it's quite mild, over 10 degrees, I would have them in the shed just because that gives my rabbits more room. And also, I find it easier, and they can have time on the run and the grass and like UVB and all that good stuff. And then from sort of September to April time, I bring them inside as part of like the family or whatever, so they don't get too cold in that. So that's
oh,
what
nice. Oh, well, again, are you gonna set up like a camera and live with the guinea pigs kind of thing? Let people watch them.
I probably could do, yeah. I don't know if I'll do that, but that's something we could do, I suppose.
I know a few people have been doing that with um, their animals. Like there's one where there's a hamster. The camera is almost always on 24 hours, and it's just basically see where the hamster is doing. And it's cool little shots. It's like inside the cage, and not just a picture of the cage with them inside the cage. The camera's inside the cage with them, so it's kind of like you're inside. And then people are doing it especially with the beekeepers right now. So, and trying to promote it actually is. It's actually pretty fun to do. It's explorer.org. You can go on there, and it's people with pets, animal rescues, also wildlife. You can see a lot of wildlife. But it's actually a really good place to go and learn various different animals, where they're from, their attitudes, and kind of fun to play. In my case, because I hang around with people who actually like animals. We like to watch the African camera's up. We like to watch that one and have drinks whenever we see a crocodile in the pool, in the watering hole. So whenever we see a snout or a pair of eyes, we're like, oh, there it is, take a shot. And take 2 shots if you see the elephant. It's kind of fun. And let me point out, we're all single, so it was just like it's kind of like the gathering of the singles. Yeah, no.
I think I'd have to get a separate camera if I wanted to set up like a little webcam or something for them. So I've got my webcam on my laptop, which is what I'm using today, but it's a really old laptop. I've had it for like 5 years, so it's probably not great quality. And then I've got my DSLR, but that's probably not gonna have a long battery enough to set it up and record for more than maybe half an hour.
No, you were talking about how you were recording and then editing and all of that. I know how long you've been on, but how long have you been doing videos? Yeah, I'm only asking because I know a lot of people in our audience don't know. Then there's the awkward silence.
This channel, I think, when did I get this channel? So I think might be a bit of a lag again.
Okay. Yeah, you're on.
Okay, no lag, is it good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I made this channel like a couple of years ago, like I don't know how long ago, 2, 3. I was living in the flat, I think. But I've had YouTube since I was a kid, like when YouTube came out, and it was so embarrassing, the videos that I used to post. It would be like on my phone, but the phone would not record audio, and it would be grainy as anything, and I'll just upload it like, wow, perfect. But obviously, it's not great. But yeah, and then I went to uni, made another channel that was really random. I was just talking to the camera and not doing a lot. But then I made this one, which obviously focused on animals. And then I think that's, you've got to find a niche. And then yeah, this is my niche now. I just talk about the animals.
Hey, yeah, can't go wrong with that. So speaking of animals, Wednesdays it's Comfy Pets Wednesdays, but it's also going to be about not just exotics pets, but just pets in general, care and all that. The reason why is because it's been requested of me more than a couple times. It's always fun to open up my Instagram and there'd be like random people just talking to me, asking me about certain pets. And I'm like, I just keep kitties and tarantulas. What do you want me to know? So we will be, for Comfy Pets Wednesday, we'll be opening it up to all pets. Because, if you really want to think about it, most people don't realize what the real definition of owning an exotic animal is. If you're a beekeeper, technically you're keeping an exotic pet. Bees depend on you to care for them, to ensure that their hive survives, to ensure that they don't catch any diseases, to ensure that, the pollination's going well. So that, again, just like a pet, you got to check on them and take care of them. And then guinea pigs, are an exotic pet. Most people don't realize that is actually an exotic pet. All the way to hamsters. So when you mention exotic pets, most people think of just the tarantulas or just the centipedes or scorpions. They really don't think of the fuzzies. And
anything but a cat or a dog is classified as sort of an exotic pet, isn't it? Unless it's like a farm animal, which is like cows and stuff.
Well, it's not just that. It's anything that can be considered what they call wild. That is actually the true definition. So anything they considered wild. So farm animals aren't really technically exotic pets. They're technically pets. But if you take like a parrot or a hamster or something like that, that would actually be expected to be seen in the wild, not reared up in a farm kind of thing. So that's the whole different definition of exotic. So since people are starting to wanting to know more about pets in general, I figured I'd open up Wednesday since I'm here on Wednesdays and Fridays. I was going to be here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but that, Twitch had to really drive a knife into that one. So it's like, well, thank you very much. So this week has been like an amazing week. It's been very busy. And I was really looking forward to this interview because I was like, yay, I'm like a huge fan, especially since you came up with new and inventive ideas on how to stimulate your rabbits to get them out there. And then you also focused on the cleaning of your snails and how clean that they were. Most people when they clean snails generally don't go in there with a pair of gloves. I watched you. I was like, what is she doing?
I used to wear gloves. I don't wear gloves anymore. Although it used to freak me out because I had worms in there as well. So I wouldn't want to put my hand in because I had quite long nails. I didn't want to like stab a worm or something. So I put some gloves on.
Let me ask you this. Have you actually stabbed a worm with your nail?
No, I have not. I don't have worms anymore, so it's fine.
But yeah, no, it was like, oh wow, she really loves to keep her animals clean, and she's really on top of that. So I was like, wow, I have to talk to her about that. So is there a reason why you keep your snails so clean?
I don't actually change out the soil because they're a bit like a fish. So the beneficial bacteria is something they eat soil and then digest with it. So I don't really clean out the soil, but I've got springtails and isopods and stuff to keep it nice and clean that way, sort of naturally. And then I'll just, pick up food and poop and turn the soil and stuff. But they're really messy, so when they climb up the sides and stuff, they drag dirt everywhere. So you have to sort of wipe that down if you want a good view of them.
Oh, nice. So it's like they're like the self-cleaning. From my understanding, they actually clean out everything, and not much can actually grow. Any bacteria and stuff would be actually from the food. And you also said you feed them their babies.
Yep.
Sorry, it's still so funny.
Not quite the babies, just the eggs. There's nothing developed yet. It's really fascinating. The little tiny sort of snail eggs is just like a chicken egg. So like if you cracked it, it would just be sort of gooey. That's exactly how a miniature little tiny snail egg is.
So I mean, wait, hold on a second. So if I remember correctly, many of the eggs did not have an actual a hardened shell. Are you saying these actually have a hardened shell?
The eggs are like a chicken egg. So they have like a white solid shell around them. Then when you open them, they come out like gooey, like a normal egg.
Wow, this has to be a species thing, because the ones I remember were always soft and gooey unless we just got to them before they harden.
The slugs lay sort of clear jelly ones is like a slug egg. Well, I don't know, like obviously all types of snails. It could be just like the giant African lantail, the ones that
I
like
haven't.
chicken eggs.
Well, I'm going to say this. I haven't worked at the zoo in so long. I could be getting the two mixed up. So let's just make that very, very clear. It's not something you study on a regular basis. And when they say you don't use it, you lose it. That's pretty much how I feel many, many days.
Yeah, because I've got a giant slug, and she lays sort of infertile eggs because I only have one slug, and they're like little jelly balls. But then a snail egg is like a white chicken egg, but it's really, really small.
I wonder if chickens came from snails. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. Evolution at its finest. That would explain so much at the moment. Now, have you ever kept a pet chicken?
I have not. I've worked with chickens. I like chickens, but I've never had one.
I would highly recommend you get a chicken.
Yes, I'd like to.
You will make a friend for life.
I live in like terraced housing, so my garden is quite small and connected to my next door neighbour's garden. So if I've got chickens, it might be a bit annoying for the neighbours because they like make sounds and stuff.
You can let the chicken and live living with you in your house.
Maybe I would consider what are they called? Like they're really small. What are they called? What's the tiny little? What are they called? I cannot remember for life of me what they're called, but they're like really small little chickens.
There's many of those. Do they have a particular type of look to them? Are you talking like the bantams?
No, maybe not.
Because
they're
bantam
not a type of chicken.
Oh,
what are they? So you get like a chicken egg in the supermarket, and then you can get like a really little one. Oh, quail.
Quail.
Yeah.
Thinking about quail. Quail are actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Just I did this for a science project. I never did it again. What we did was we took quail eggs, not from the store though. We actually got them from an actual farm, and we raised a few to see how well they would keep down the pests that were bugging the chickens. They did a pretty good job. Unfortunately, our rooster was inclined to beat the crap out of them every time they got close to the hens. So that didn't last very long. It wasn't the fox that killed them, it was the rooster. That was kind of sad, but of course, I was cruel and mean as well. So I was young. I wasn't mean to the animals like that. I'm just going to put that out. But I wasn't exactly nice about it to my mom. I was like, "Hey, mom, look, this has just happened. Your rooster's evil Zeld." I just walked away. She was so mad.
Oh.
She was so sad as well. So it's like, like you have like the worst kids in the world. They're like, yeah, let's break the news to you in the worst possible way. Yeah, no, it was bad. I was a bad kid. But she got back. She got back at me. There's a reason why I have issues going into a hen house, cleaning hen houses now, is because she did it to me. She made me clean it out for a month. Cleaning out hen house on a daily basis, which is needed because of the bacteria and stuff that can build up, and that can actually affect their, not to sound too bad, but it can actually infect their uterus. So as you know, chickens lay eggs consistently. So it makes them a higher risk for things as cysts and cancers and all that because there's new cells constantly inside the uterus.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, to keep infections down, you clean the hen house on a daily basis, and it can get pretty wild in there. And if you're not swapping out with somebody on a daily basis and you don't have a really good ventilation, you could give them some issues, long-term issues. My mom felt so bad after that. I have almost no sense of smell. There's certain smells I can't smell because of that, but that was my mom felt so bad about that. But like I said, she got back at me for being a brat. So did it stop me from being a brat? No. Absolutely not. Oh, so moving on. This is how Crax was naughty. This is Crax's naughty hour. Let's just keep moving. I'm digging myself a nice hole. Now, if you want, I'm going to give everybody a shout out and let everybody say hello to you. Let me scroll up a little bit because we've got just a handful of people talking. We have Lincoln Alvarado, Tony's Tarantula, Spider Bomb 1978, Ellie's Bug Babies. We have Bailey's Bug Blog. Try saying that 3 times fast. I promise that your mouth will trip. Your tongue will twist. So far, that's about all people are talking, but we do have more in the chat. So if you guys want your proper shout out, please say hello in the chat. We'll do so. And please say hello to Jade's Jungle. She's on with us this evening. Now, Jade, would you like to take a quick break, play a little song, and then I can get a refill?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
All right. What kind of music do you like, by the way?
I'm honestly all over mix. Like, I could be listening to Taylor Swift one day and Bring Me the Horizon the next. I'm very mixed.
All right.
Does that not help?
We'll play a little Salt Lamp from Yobi. Now, mind you, because of what Epidemic Sound is doing and them being brats. See, now everybody's exploding the chat for you. But no, Epidemic Sound has actually restricted. Believe it or not, you pay when you pay for copyright to Epidemic Sound. Did you know you can't use all the songs?
You can't. Why not?
They call it a standalone play. You're not allowed to do that.
Oh, you can only use.
You can only play. Yes. So you're basically paying them to give you a candy bar, and they're only allowed to eat between a quarter to a half of it, and then you have to give it back.
That's not fair.
Well, there's a way. Ellie, I can't play Yogi. Unfortunately, I have to keep this clean. I'll get shut down for that song. But I will recommend people to play Yogi Bear's adult version. It's pretty funny. I laughed out loud. But no, the Epidemic Sound is like, okay, so if you play the standalone, we'll monetize your videos. And it's like, so you're actually making money letting me play the standalones. So you're not going to shut me down, which is a smart play on their part. But you also want me to pay for the subscription to play that song. That makes absolutely 0 sense. Mm-hmm. And I go, no, actually it makes perfect sense on their half, because I have to pay them for the copyright for the part of the song. Then if I play more than that part, they're going to monetize. So basically they're taking money twice. I was like, joke's on them. I'm not qualified to be monetized yet. And then by the time my year ends, do you think I'm going to actually renew my subscription? Oh, hell no. That is not going to happen. I'll go find some place where I can actually play the music. Now, there's 2 places that SoundCloud actually offers copyright use under certain terms. So I have to go and look up those songs. And then there's Upbeat. Hasn't got back to me on my questionnaire yet, but once they do, I'll figure out if I can use them or not. Now, they might send me over to Music Vine, because they offer what they call kind of like a radio license, and that radio license is 30,000 kroner a year, which is about 3,000 euro a year. Not going to afford it, not going to pay that. But at least SoundCloud, they actually give away individual songs. So each song has a different basically terms of service or terms to your contract. So it's one of those things like, do you go with SoundCloud and not cover yourself? Because what if the artist has stolen a song from somebody else? Or do you try and find a place that will actually let you use the song, or you pay out the wazoo money that you don't have because, you're not monetized yet. So it's like a catch-22. It's like, what do you do? So for right now, I'm continuing with the music slowly.
Sounds very complicated.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Ellie's Bug Baby says copyright takes the piss nowadays just to rip off. Yes, it does. I remember back in the day where you could just play a song. You could play an oldie song from the radio and nobody batted an eye.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no clue what happened. How did it change? But anyways, we're gonna start with a little bit of Salt Lamp, and so I can go get a refill. I'm cleaning up my Black Label, and I'm cleaning up my Gentleman Jack before I dip into the rum. So maybe no rum tonight. We don't know. It depends on how fast I drink.
There's got to be rum tonight.
Are you having anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna have some rum.
You're gonna have some rum? All right. Let's go ahead. All right, then you know what? I'll just go get some rum.
Okay.
All right. And of course, I couldn't get to my volume fast enough. Welcome back, everybody. I am Crax, your host with Exotics Radio Podcast and Jade's Jungle. Hey, yay! We've got Moon Over Miami. We've got Tony Tarantulas, Ellie Bug Babies. Origi says good evening. We've got Northern Exotics. Oh, my goodness. We've been blessed. The god of Northern Exotics is in the house himself. All right, I'm enough teasing you. I'm sorry. He says, "Yo, I'm here. Can't talk because I'm driving, but having a good listen. That's good, Northern. I'm glad you can make it." We have Bailey's Bug Blog. We also have Lincoln as well. I'm so happy everybody's here. And of course, we have Ellie. I didn't miss you, Ellie. We have Spider Mom somewhere around in this joint. And we also have Jade. So are you back, Jade? Do. Apparently she's not back yet. So, all right. Yeah. Scott's Animal Adventures also says they're here as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like the show. I hope you like everything that's going on. Spider Mom 1978. Yes, I'm here somewhere. She's probably hanging off the walls, hanging off the curtains, giving poor Jason a hard time. Hello. There you're back.
I was a while. I was just getting a drink.
Oh, so what are you having? I have a bit of rum on the rocks, having a little bit on the straight. How about yourself?
Rum on the rocks. Does that not burn your throat? I've got like a Bacardi and Coke.
Nice. I don't judge because I mix it too. It depends on if I want a boost or not. Right now, like I said, I have interesting weeks right now. I need the boost. I need that a little buzz. No, I do like to drink my drink with a little bit of ice. It soothes it down, or smooths it out, I should say. As you put it, it burns the back of the throat. It kind of does if you don't add the ice. If you don't cut it somewhere along the line, I don't care what shelf, whether it be Bacardi Gold, Silver, or just normal off the normal shelf, it will burn.
Keep it nice and warm.
Northern Exotic says, just shared on my community tab. Oh, thank you so much, Northern. That's more than you've done more than I could ever ask for. And he needs a beer. Yep. Well, I have some beer from Poland. I don't know why you guys can't come over. You guys should come over. I've got such a collection. Ellie's have seen my collection. She's I'm pretty sure she's gonna make her way here sometime. Or Jade's like, Scotch, anyone? Lee's Creature Features. Well, hello, you're new here. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Lee.
Again, we are. Oh, you know them?
What, Lee?
Oh, not Lee. I thought the way you were so nice with it, I was like, oh, she must know them.
Not in person, but I think I sent Lee some leaf insects before.
Oh, nice. Now, I'm going to pick your brain because I know you do some of the sendings and receivings. When you do when you send something out, how do you normally pack it? Because I've seen the videos. I know how to pack from working with the zoo, of course. We've constantly received animals and sent animals back. Well, not back, but feeders back. How getting a package yourself? How would you look? What would you look for? And then how would you send it out?
I've only ever sent snails and leaf insects and then leaf insect eggs. So for the eggs, I put them in like a little test tube, and then I would just send them in, like a bubble wrap envelope because they'll be in the test tube and they'll be nice and secure in there. For the leaf insects, I don't know if I used a heat pack or not because I think it was the middle of summer, so I don't think I used one of them. But I would sort of give them a container and put sort of tissue paper around the side, and then I would get the bramble and put the bramble in some really wet tissue paper and then wrap that in foil so that the bramble stayed sort of moist, and then put the leaf insects in there so that they had the food plant to eat, and then I would send them off with lots of packing to make sure that that was all right. And then with snails, I sent snails before, and I used the heat pack for that one because I think it was in spring, just to make sure that they're not too cold in the post or anything. But it's always next day delivery, so you send them in the afternoon and they get there by the next morning.
Oh wow, that's actually really nice. So the way I'm picturing in my head, it's kind of like how people would send ants, or how we would send ants, especially to another lab for study. You take the queen, and you would have basically. She would be in a test tube, and then as she's in there, it would be plugged off with a cotton swab dipped in water, so it's very moist. And then we would cork it off because she's not in there to live. She's not in there to hibernate either. She's there to travel.
Yeah.
Now, depending on how big or how small she is, sometimes we have to put a couple of cotton swabs in there. Mainly, it's to narrow down the room that she's moving, because test tubes are already narrow enough. It's the length of we don't want her trying to climb up or down, pretty much. But generally, they would hang on pretty well, and then we would put Fragile over everything, and then send it overnight, and of course send it guaranteed and
Yeah.
everything else on the sun. So it was like there is no way this animal could actually die in transit unless
Yeah.
it's the trap, the sender's fault, not the sender, but the company that you send it through's fault.
Yeah. You have to write on the box as well, live animal, please be careful.
See, the thing is, here in Sweden, we don't. Because if you put in live animals, you better have every paperwork with it.
Yeah, I think we can only send feeders, so invertebrates is the only thing we're allowed to send. I think people send fish, but I don't know how they get around that because I don't think they're actually allowed. But
Really?
it's feeder insects specifically on because I had to look on the Royal Mail website because when I went, they refused to post it because it was like you can't post a snail, but you can because I've got snails in the post before. So I had to like look up the rules and like show them and stuff. So yeah, you're not allowed to
Oh,
send
wow.
them.
No, I bet you that was frustrating.
Yeah, the woman was terrified. I think I like traumatized her. She was so scared.
You terrorize? I've seen you now. Yeah, I've heard you. There is no way you can be terrifying.
I think it was in the box that was terrified.
Okay. Now we know the truth. Yeah, no, you guys have way stricter rules than we do. But yeah, if we put live animals on the side, um, here's the thing with Sweden, and this is kind of annoying. If you put live animals, then you have to go through the agriculture office, and then you have to go through every hoop that they decided to put you through. Um, Now, if you do it just in a brown box, because you know the term brown boxing, they don't care.
Yeah. So I
Whether
think
you
we
do
have
the
to have a
paperwork.
special. Sorry, I think we
Go
have to
ahead.
have a special animal carrier for sort of reptiles and stuff. I think I'm a little bit delayed and I keep speaking over you. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. No, I sometimes talk over people. I apologize. Yeah, it's just me, my habit. I'm just really excited. This is me excited. Everybody that's been on the show has been exposed to me walking over them a little bit. I'm sorry. I just get excited when people are on the show. Just saying. Oh gosh,
At least the babies just put. I'm sorry, I'm doing it again, talking over you again. I think I'm definitely lagged because when I start speaking,
No,
there's a
no,
pause, but then you start.
no. You're fine. You're fine. We're just missing each other just a little bit. You're fine. But go
But
ahead.
Ellie's Bug Babies just commented and she's put, I love going to the post office and when they ask what's in the box, I say a huge tarantula and they go blue.
Yeah, see, I've actually got a getting gifts from fans is at one point in time it was getting a bit too much, and the delivery man was the same guy over and over again, and I felt bad for him because he was terrified of spiders, but he was actually bringing my package up front with him so they can actually be in a warm environment and wasn't getting rattled and banged around in the back of his van. I had to actually give him a hug and a huge thank you for that. So next time I see him, I actually have to leave like some sort of gift or something for him because this guy goes out of his way to ensure that if there's a dead animal, it's not on him because
Oh,
he can't see
that
an
sounds
animal
really
get
nice.
hurt. Well, he really can't see an animal getting hurt, and he knows how bad the packaging could be. But it was just funny because every time. So please don't tell me what this is what I think it is. Yep, it is. How many did you get this time? 3. And it just like he'd have like a moment of shutdown. But at least he was going, like I said, at least he was going out of his way to ensure that they were okay. But yeah, if you
I
put
like
live
it when
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I like it when the postman's like, what's in here? Like if it's got live animal written on the box, they're always interested. They always want to know. But I always feel bad. Like, do you really want to know? I'm not sure you do.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna send because I got a couple of non-dua trepepe that I want to actually send out to a couple people in the UK, and I'm trying to figure out how that's gonna work. Because the UK used to be part of the EU, so it would have been no
Yeah.
problem then, but now they're not.
Yeah.
It's like
It's quite complicated.
crap. And the thing is, love the giggles. Aw, Northern, you're so cute. But anyways, I just say live food to be honest. But to see the Bailey, if I put live food on the boxes, what will happen is they'll crack open the box. If I put live anything on there, they're going to crack open the box. So, I mean, that's the sad part. It could be completely legal. You can do all of the paperwork, pay all of the permits, have them all taped all around that box. They're still cracking it open. Make sure that you put what you said it's going in there. And at that point, you can't guarantee if the animal gets to the person live because the package has already been compromised. Do you see the problem? It's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, if I could send it in an acrylic box that you guys can actually see through, then I wouldn't have any worries. But I can't do that.
When I sent the leaf insects, I said to the woman that there was leaf insects, and she said, "Am I doing an experiment?" I don't really know what she meant by that, and I was like, "No." She's like, "Oh, I just thought you'd be doing an experiment with them." What?
What?
I don't know. That's weird, isn't it?
Yes, actually, that's kind of odd. So when you get your leaf insects, how long have you had them? How long have you been doing leaf insect breeding?
I've only had them for 3 generations, so I think I got them in 2019. I think it was. I got them from a northern invertebrate show, which is like where we have like little shows across the UK. So I got them from one of those. I think it was 2019. I'm pretty sure. But they just laid eggs since then, and I've just kept them. I've got a few different eggs now that are incubating. So these are the last picture of leaf insects I'm going to have, and hopefully I'll have giant leaf insects after that, which are just a little bit bigger because they are giant.
Have you think about getting the big one from New Zealand? Is it New Zealand? I think it is. The biggest one.
Is that the jungle nymph?
Not too sure. Hold on.
I've got jungle nymph eggs, and I think they're supposed to be one of the biggest plasmas that you can get. You're doing a quick Google.
Yes. No, it's China that the world's largest one comes from.
I think
the other one,
jungle nymph is the heaviest.
Yeah, I think it's the heaviest.
I think the biggest is one of those long, skinny ones, isn't it? I can't quite remember what the name is.
But the thing is, I thought that was okay. Yeah, Chinese museum claims to have the world's largest insect.
I've got some Mercedes spectre stick insects there from Australia, I think.
So my question is to you: Are you're planning on getting a jungle nymph, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got the eggs.
Oh, you got the eggs. Oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully the hatch.
Aww.
They do take like a year and a half to hatch though, so could just be looking after them for a really long time, and then nothing comes of them. But hopefully it'll be alright.
Holy cow, that's that's huge. I mean that's like a huge undertaking is what I was trying to say. So I'm just blown away that you actually got him. That is, like I said, that's like a huge undertaking. Because that's like, as you said, it takes 2 to 3 years for them to hatch. I mean, it's like patience.
Yeah, taking time.
So, okay, explain the process of getting this because I mean they're huge. I mean, well, of course they're huge, but what I mean is the subject is big and there's a lot going on with that. So, how did you go about getting the eggs in the first place?
So I just ordered the eggs from a breeder, and then they arrived, and I put them into soil. So they have to be buried, specifically jungle nymphs. And then, so I put them in bioactive soil, so it had some springtails and stuff to make sure it wouldn't go moldy or anything. And then every couple of days, if it dries out, I spray it, and then I just have to wait for a year and a half.
Now, is there any other type of large insect you're planning on getting?
Sorry, what did you say? You just cut out a little bit.
Is there any other type of large insect you're planning on getting in the future, like like not the rhino beetle, but the the horn, is it the horn beetle? The huge one. The
You know,
it's like the Goliath or something like that.
I've never kept beetles before. I would like a sun beetle, but obviously they're not giant. They're just sort of tiny. But I'm waiting to get some UV because I've read that they really thrive with UVB. So I think I'll get those when I've got some UVB for them. But I've never kept beetles actually. I think beetles are quite expensive as well, aren't they? They're like a very niche hobby. So they're like quite
Really?
sought after.
Because oh, then then I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get you one because they're not that expensive here in Sweden. Because there's nobody wants to buy them. Because nobody wants to buy them. That's why. I mean, it's such a small market. And you gotta remember.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe I've not looked into them enough. But yeah, I never really.
Yeah, the Goliathus is the name. Goliath beetles, the Goliathus. They're huge, but very pretty. They're really impressive and they're very, very pretty. Oh, okay. Let me check over to the chat. There's things going on. They're talking about other countries. Let's see. We got Moon Over Miami says Richard Tarantula Collective has a good podcast about tarantula venom and eradicating hairs. Yes, but I think I kind of don't think I have to cover eradicating hairs on this channel since just about everybody owns a tarantula, and we kind of know the dangers of how far the eradicating hairs can go, and of course tarantula venom. We've covered that like eons ago.
I've got quite a few tarantulas that flick hairs, but I've never had a reaction to it. I've never noticed if they've actually got me with the hair. I don't know if I'm just really like unsensitive to them, but I've never noticed when the tarantulas flicked hairs at me.
That's weird. You are so lucky. I work in fiberglass, so I mean the LP hair is just like fiberglass to me. I'm like I don't even itch at the point because I'm so used to the feeling. But I do flare up like when the smaller, like the say if I disturbed a sling or something. Well, I didn't say a sling, but a juvenile or sub-adult. Then I can feel it a little bit, mainly because they kick so much of it. The older ones are just like, screw it. They already know I'm there. They're waiting for their food. But most of the time, if I startle them, I'll feel it. But eradicating hairs really aren't that big of a thing for me. I know there's some people in the chat that they flare up really bad.
Yeah, I've heard like proper horror stories about it, but I don't know. Every time, because my Nandu colorato velocum and my LP and Brachypelma hamori, they're really bad for it. Every time I try and rehouse them, they'll flick loads of hairs, but I've just never felt it. And I've always thought, have I just been lucky? But I don't know, maybe I'm just unsensitive.
Well, Bailey Bugblock said the cornea scarring has either been from the LP or the dust from the mountain when biking. They're not too sure. I'm gonna go with dust from the biking, the dust from the mountain. It's very rare for them to. I mean, it's not unheard of, but it's pretty rare for them to do it. But again, I have seen it. I've seen when you go through training, when you go through training like at the zoo, you get to see all these kind of videos, and yeah, it's one of them. You see the damage. Somebody let their tarantula walk on their face, and they got spooked, kicked hairs, and you can imagine where the hairs went. Right into the eyes.
Yep.
And the eyes look like they just got hit by a porcupine. It was just so bad. It's like, this is why you don't let tarantulas crawl on your face.
Is there anything they can do for people that get like hairs in their eyes? Or do you just have to live
Actually,
with it?
you'll go into the eye doctor. They'll flush out your eyes because a lot of it will come loose because of the excess liquid. They'll float. They're not actually stuck, and the ones that are stuck, they'll take a really fine tweezers and pull them out. With, of course, local anesthetic. So you actually have to be awake and wide awake when this happens. You don't feel it, of course, but you get to see it. And so it's not a good or very fun experience. Now, the only reason why I know this experience happens is because it wasn't a tarantula. It was actually from when I was my bricklayer days, when somebody was stupid enough not to wear eye protection, and we were working with, that's right, insulation, which happens to be fiberglass. So that was interesting. He told us all kinds of horror stories when he got back out of that the doctor's office. Yeah, so but the hairs, I know how they do. They actually wash it up. They actually wash out your eyes because again, they come out. They're very hollow. They're very light, and the ones that are left that will get pulled out. So
didn't know that.
Spider Mom says she's got to go pick up dinner. Hugs, y'all. Well, hugs back. Glad you made it. I'm glad you're here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want your proper shout out, please say hi, hello, you're here. We'll give you your spot on the show. Yeah, Bailey's bug, who's put freezing drop in your eyes. Freezing drops in your eyes. That's pretty invasive. I don't know what you did, Bailey. Talk to you soon. All right, Spider Mom.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. So we've got. I know Northern Exotics is still listening, and I know he's having a drink or two. I wonder what he's drinking now. Because you're having rum, I'm having rum, he's having beer. We've got Bailey's Bug Bug, who already told me he wasn't going to have a drink. We've got Ellie's Bug Babies, so I maybe having a drink with us. Who's all having a drink with us? That's a good question. Raise your cheers.
And what are you having?
And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are having a drink of an adult influence, please drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. All that good stuff. You're adults. You already know this. It always amazed me. It's like, you use commercials that say, don't drink and drive or drink responsibly. It's like, really? Really? You need a commercial to remind you? You're an adult in a bar. Kind of figured you already knew that from the years prior. Common sense. Now, I know in some people common sense doesn't work, but hey. Tony's tarantula, so he's drinking beers. All right. I've got some Polish beer if anybody wants some. Directly from Poland. It was kind of fun. We got, oh yeah, okay, they're talking about themselves again. Don't drink the bath water. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
That's just like the most random statement ever. It's just like, don't drink the bath water. Oh, he's got some coffee and had some Lucozade. I don't know what Lucozade is. I'm sorry.
Is it an energy drink, or is it just a fizzy drink?
I'm not sure.
Well, I know what Lucozade is. It's in like vending machines, but I've never had it.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's going to be high on caffeine. All right. We know how this goes. we know who needs to go on to the decaf. Sorry, I'm a little anxious tonight. We're a little hyped up a bit tonight.
Had a dragon soup today, which is a alcoholic beverage with some caffeine in it, which is fun.
That sounds like heaven. That sounds like a straight up Viking drink. I'll tell you what, being a bricklayer, I'll tell you, we used to put alcohol in our coffee. There was our alcohol and caffeine mix.
Ooh,
that was just called Monday morning.
Coffee.
We wouldn't even do that. We would just straight up put like whiskey.
Ooh, even better.
So it was like that. Like I said, we called that a Monday morning. And then they start doing random checks, and then that kind of killed all the fun. Bailey's Bugbox says Irish coffee.
Glucose drink.
Come again?
Ellie's Bug Babies put Lucozade as a glucose drink. I think it's like, I always see it if you go to like the gym. They've got the vending machines there, and you always get Lucozade in there.
So you have a gym with a vending machine that gives out energy drinks.
No, I don't think it's an energy drink. I think it's a glucose drink, so it's like got sugar in it.
It's like a sugar drink. Oh yeah, so he's hyped on sugar and coffee. That's great. Oh, that's always a good time. You start seeing sound at that point. So anyways, back to back to you. That's what podcasts are great for. They're always good to give the person that's on the show their dues, their spot in the light, to say. But yeah, I know it's really nice to have you here. I cannot express how nice it was to get somebody to come back. But yeah, I'll be on the show. I'm like, finally, somebody accepted. I've had other people accept, but they usually. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I love your show, because I didn't really know much about it, but then there was a live with, I think it was Richard and Scott from Scott's Inverts and Northern Exotics, and then I think he was in the chat, and then that's when I found your channel, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think your microphone is such good quality.
Oh, I didn't know it was good quality. Because whatever time I listen to it, the playbacks, I'm like, no, what did that happen?
I think it's good quality.
Because the songs, the voices have no warp. It's almost like they get left out of the. Well, sometimes they do. Sometimes you'll hear it, but quality-wise, you'll hear the compression from YouTube, and it distorts the music, especially the music, because the music has a certain beat and a certain tone. It almost always gets distorted. And it's like. Speaking of music, you want to hear some more? Hey, we can go right into our next song. That way we can interact with the audience a little bit.
Yep.
We'll play some verbatim.
All right, hold fast, everybody. Hope you guys
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait for tomorrow. I'll tell you what exciting things are going to happen tomorrow. Some people are probably going, oh, crap. She's had a few. No, actually, I'm going to be going and shopping with my niece for some new stuff for her own little stick figures. I call them stick figures. Don't mind me. They are actually stick insects. I know what they are. Just prefer to call them stick figures because that's exactly what they are. Just put a little, if you could just draw like a little head on top of them, they would be a perfect stick figure. I'm sorry. It just does.
I do think they do have like googly eyes, don't they?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. They just missed the little round head. That's all they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So don't mind me. Okay. So, she is, like I said, this is probably one of the most exciting times for her because she just got into insects. She wanted spiders, but her parents are absolutely terrified of them. And I told her she's not really old enough in my eyes. She's not responsible enough in my eyes to actually own a tarantula because I'm afraid she's going to get too excited and then be showing people her tarantula over and over and over again, stressing the animal out. Whereas with her sticks insects, she can't really take them out. She has to leave them in this big, beautiful enclosure. She can bring people to her room, but it's not actually handling the enclosure itself. So I know how she is. She can get a bit too excited. And so, yeah, like I said, would give her a bit more time. And I told her, if you can keep these guys successfully for an entire year, then I'll help you pick out a tarantula for yourself. If not, keep one of mine. And then, her mom from all the way across the house actually heard that comment under the tones, still the same. I mean, that woman, I kid you not, you could whisper like across the house, she would hear it. It's like she's psychic. And then I was told I would be disowned. I would never be able to see my nieces. So it's kind of like a conundrum here.
But I think you said you've got a tarantula from one of your friends already, haven't you?
I do. I actually take care of, I've got people during some contests named the tarantulas. That was like because I was broke. So you get to name a tarantula that I got. And so they really did. It was, how do you pronounce it? Now with this crowd, I can't do that because this crowd can easily name the tarantula. With that kind of crowd, they didn't have tarantulas. They didn't really understand the exotic animal part. And I to get them into it, I was like, hey, if you can pronounce this name right, the first person to pronounce this name right will get to name the tarantula. And you would be surprised. A lot of people want to participate. And so, yeah, so far I have 4 tarantulas that are mine, of course, but are named, and I consider them theirs as well. So I take pictures and post it online and say, hey, look, your tarantula's doing really well.
Yeah, I've got one of those as well. It's called Gail. My friend named it from Gail off Coronation Street. So she doesn't own the tarantula, but she's the owner of the tarantula, if that makes sense.
See, it's like you understand. It's like how do I do this? It's like you're the one that actually owns it, but it's their tarantula too because they put some. They've got their little. They're invested emotionally.
Yeah.
I think that's a better way of putting it.
My friend
And
always asks, like, is it molted yet? And I'm like, yeah, it's doing great. And she's like, can I have another photo? I'm like, yeah, there you go.
I've got my Nandu Tripepe, oldest female that I own. But I call her my little fatty. Holy crap! I've never seen a tarantula put down food as much as she does. She's always constantly hungry, and so I have to cut her back. And then I feel guilty when I don't feed her for almost 3 weeks because her abdomen is so huge, and I'm like, "Are you just constipated? Are you actually? Am I going to have to put you in an ICU?" No, she molts just she molts just fine. So far, she has molted. Let me knock on wood. But she has molted just as plain as day, and she loses all the weight during that molt. I didn't say all of it, but most of it. And so I'm like, okay. And then there's poop everywhere, so I know she's pooping. I'm like, are you okay?
Hungry.
Exactly. She just eats and poops. That's all she does. And then I don't know what is with her. It's just her. She takes her hides and she buries them. She takes her water dishes, she buries them. And yet she has dug out the front of her enclosure all the way down to the bottom of the glass. And that's where she doesn't want to live inside her hides. No, she stuffs the extra substrate into her hide. She just want to live in that little strip in front of her. I'm like, dude, you have a hide. Stop freaking out every time I pick you up. No, she doesn't want to use it. She really doesn't want to use it. And I've twice I've gone in there and I tried to take out the hide that she's buried because it takes up way too much room. And she freaks out. She stresses and stresses. So I put it back in. Guess what? She calms down. Like, are you kidding me? You're limiting your own space. She don't care. She just wants it like that. I'm like, okay. Who am I to argue?
Nice decoration.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm just like, oh, she drives me nuts. Because I don't want her to stress out, but she stresses out more if I take it out and try to give her something she can actually hide in than she is. I don't know if maybe there's a vision problem. I don't know. But she stresses really out if she doesn't have that high substrate to make her feel kind of buried. I don't know what it is. Because the whole top is exposed. She has molted there twice. I'm like, this next molt, I have to rehouse her completely out of her enclosure that she owns now. So she'll go into a permanent home after this next molt.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, no, it'll be nice. Finally, it'll be like, finally, you're finally in your own home. No more. But she's actually, I'm really surprised how quick Nandu Tripepe grow. So you don't have one, do you?
No, I only have a Nandu Colorato Velocum, but that one is probably about as big as my LP, and the LPs are kind of known for growing really fast. And I got the LP before I got the Nandu Colorato Velocum, so I think they are quite fast growers.
Oh, now I have to find my book because I think I have, because I've got two Nandu. And I really don't pay attention to their species because they're both Nandus and they pretty much have the same care. So I'm looking for my book. Because in my book, there it is, I have a list of everybody and their names, so I know exactly where to find them.
I've got a little like a spreadsheet on my phone on like Google Sheets, I suppose, and that's got a list of like all my pet weights and all of the birthdays and things. It's funny how we all like keep a little record, isn't it? I suppose it's good record keeping there.
And no, I highly encourage record keeping, and I highly encourage when you get them, writing down the state that you get them in, and then Nandu Carbonensis.
Carapoensis.
Thank you.
I had one of those. That was a slow grower for me. That one really grew slow. That was I ordered a king baboon, and then a Nandu Carapoensis came, and I was like, oh, this is not right. So I don't have it anymore because it's not a species that I intended to keep. But when I had that one, that was one of the slowest growers that I had.
Believe it or not, she's let's see, hold on. I gotta find out. I didn't write down her. Why did I not write down her size? I wrote down that she's female. Wrote down how much she costs, but I did not write down her size. I'm an idiot. Because I believe she's Asha's tarantula. Hold on 1 second. Let me check up the name. Sorry, people. I gotta do a little. She's Asha's tarantula. So she's fast growing for me. But she's slowed down quite some time now because she plays with her food instead of eating it. It seems like after every molt, she eats like a ton, swells up, and that's it. She's done.
Yeah.
And she will eat everything that goes in there right after a molt. Well, not right after, you know what I mean? Between 9 or 10 days, because I gotta get her time to harden up. But after she starts eating again after a molt, she swells up immensely, and then she's like, nah, I just play with it. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me?
I've got my Phenopalma calicodes. She eats for a few months after she's molted, but then she won't eat for a year and a half, and then she'll molt again and be eaten again. But for that year and a half where she doesn't eat, makes me nervous.
You know, you want to know something funny?
Mm.
I have a Brachypelma apopulosum. Albolopsum. Blah, blah, blah. I'm horrible with the names. You know what I mean. She almost for a year she was in a pre-molt. Almost for an entire year.
Mm-hmm.
She did not eat. And then she finally molted us. She's my forever pre-molt. And then she ate, and now she's eating regularly. Now she's slowing down again. I'm like, are you kidding me? But she's going into her enclosure soon. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know they don't have the same metabolism that normal like people or like pets like cats and dogs do, but it still makes me nervous when they don't eat for like a year. Well, I know it's fine in the end.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm just like, are you? It amazes me because I'm like, oh well, it's like when the males hook out when they mature. They'll like this one male, he went almost a year without eating, finally ate something, and then went back into his hole, and I didn't see him for almost a half a year. And now he still won't eat anything, so it's been about a year since he's eaten anything. It's like, what was that? And he's still swollen, not swollen, but he still seems full. He doesn't seem dehydrated or anything like that. Because you want to keep them as hydrated as possible, especially the males. And he doesn't seem like he's hurting in any way, shape, or form. It's just like really long time for him. It's just like, But at least I know he's matured because of this. So
yeah, none of my males have hooked out yet, but I'm gonna be so sad when they do because they just don't live as long as females, and that's so sad. I think most of mine. I think I've only got 2 females out of 6. I've only got 6. So.
Oh wow. No, I got a question. Have you ever you order from Spider World, right?
The spider shop.
The spider shop. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever ordered from spidersworld.eu?
No, never.
I would recommend go checking them out because they've got a huge reputation. Probably one of the largest collections in all of Europe as well.
Yeah, I probably will check them out as well because I've been thinking I really would like some slings because obviously now a lot of mine are sub-adults / juveniles and I'm ready to get some little slings, I think. A Grammostola pulchra, top of the list.
That's my dream. That's my dream tarantula, but they're always expensive.
They're so expensive, yeah. And I would like a female one of those as well, so I feel like I'd have to buy one that was a little bit older so I knew the gender, but...
I was going to say, do you also want to sell your soul with that? That's pretty much, you're like, here's my left arm. I'll stick it out for that.
Well, I just know if I spend quite a lot of money on a sling and then it turns out to be male, I'll be so gutted. So I'd rather buy a female that was already gendered than just buying a random sling. But also, most of my tarantulas have grown from slings, so it'd be kind of sad if I bought one that was older, since I've grown most of them on. I don't know, because my Phanopelma calicoes wasn't a sling, so I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say this place excels at selling slings. Just don't order the dwarves from them. This is my personal experience. I'm not calling them out. They're an excellent company. I'm gonna put that right now. I'm gonna put my foot down on that right now. Their customer service by far is one of the best. But I had ordered a Hapalobus Columbian large from them, and it was a sling. And I got my sling, but it was way too small. It shouldn't have been shipped at all.
Oh, tiny one.
Yeah, we were talking about less. We think millimeters.
Especially just.
Pretty much. I'm thinking a grain of sand was about as big as they were.
Okay.
I mean, it was so bad, and of course he survived, and of course he grew up, and he just recently passed away due to maturity and old age. But he's the one I posted as my on my Facebook just recently. He's the one I posted as my escapee, my champion escapee, because anything you put him in, he'd escape. He was just so small. He was just like, I'm out. And luckily, I had a plant. Well, I had the cool part was I had a plant in my window. Every time, I'd always find him there. I was so thankful. I was like, "Oh my god, thank God, I know where you're at." And so it came to. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna say that's funny because today, where my sort of laptop is, because we're working from home at the moment because of obviously coronavirus. I was just looking at my plant and I had a spider in it, and I was like, "That's a really cute spider." And I just thought maybe that would have been your tarantula.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it's funny. If you have a tarantula that's a sling, definitely look in your potted plants because that's exactly where they want to go. And that's exactly where he went. And it was just, I was so devastated when I first found him escaped. And I was just, I was distraught going, how bad of an owner can I be? And I go and I look for him and I see this tiny movement because we have small spiders here inside the house. And I'm thinking it's one of them. What if one of these little true spider? I hate using the word true spider, but smooth spider is more of a better term. One of these little baby orb weavers. What if they get a hold of him? He could probably defend himself a little bit, but I mean, these things they have webbing. I mean, these things are killers. They will eliminate a tarantula. So I'm thinking the worst case scenario is I look a little bit closer and this thing's orange, and I'm like, hey, hold on a second. There's no orange spiders in Sweden.
It's really impressive that you managed to find him.
I was impressed. But he was on a purplish plant, a little flower, and the orange butt just stood out really quick. I was like, oh, I found you. So I rehoused him 4 times when he was a sling. 4 freaking times. I finally figured out that a maggot container works perfect for a sling that small. They have pinholes in the roof. It is a tight lid. It is plastic, so you can't see through it too well. But you just all you had to do is creep open the lid a little bit, and you could see where he's at. And 9 times out of 10, once you start creeping up on the lid, he'd go right for his hide. And so you were able to maintain him through that. And again, the pinhole's already through the roof of the top there. It wasn't like the best ventilation, but when they're that little, you want a little bit higher humidity, but you want to give them some ventilation. And it worked out perfect. I was like, oh, it was heaven sent. I thank my lucky stars that I finally figured out something he couldn't escape out of. And after that, it was easy keeping from then on. But he did give me some experience with dwarf species. Dwarf babies are not the easiest. Oh, now our audience is talking about snakes. we're talking about tarantulas, but our audience is talking about snakes. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Have you ever kept any snakes in your history of keeping animals?
I have not. I do like snakes though. I like there's quite a lot of corn snakes near me that need a home. So I think if I was to get a snake, it'd probably be a corn snake.
Oh, that I know. If you have any Scott's Animal Adventures is really good with the snakes as well. I mean, I know quite. Then there's Paul Dunn. Speaking of Paul Dunn, I haven't seen him in a while. I've been trying to get a hold of him on Instagram and say hi, but he's been so quiet. Let's see. Yeah, they're still talking about snakes. Mark the Spider Guy. Hey, Mark, it was good seeing you. I was missing you. He's a little late. But yeah. So you wanted a snake. Yeah, if you can get your hands on a snake, would you get a snake, or would you pass up and still stick with what you've got?
Well, at the moment, I'm obviously getting the guinea pigs tomorrow, hopefully, as long as they turn up. And then I've got a little crested gecko set up. But then after that, I don't really like planning for like future animals because I'll always concentrate on the animals that I've got. But I do absolutely love snakes. Like snakes are one of my favorite animals. I just cannot decide which snake I would like because all snakes appeal to me. Obviously, I couldn't keep a big snake that was over 6 foot because in the UK the minimum enclosure size is obviously the length of the snake. So I think a 6 foot vivarium plus is quite a lot. So I would probably have maybe an 8 foot vivarium maximum and then like a maximum of a 6 foot snake. But yeah, I do like snakes,
Mm. No. Now, as your time as now, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper because you said you were a veterinarian assistant, correct? Not a vet tech, but a veterinarian assistant.
Yeah, just like a little assistant. It wasn't anything like you don't need to be qualified for that sort of here. It was kind of like shadowing, I suppose. You was literally just the assistant. You weren't like a qualified person. So I would, hold things or clean things, that kind of thing. It was more like shadowing, I suppose.
Oh, that's cool. So was it just common animals or were they exotic animals?
Yeah, I only ever saw sort of rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, that kind of thing. I never saw any reptiles or birds. I didn't see any birds. It was just my mum had like a hairdresser's, and then next door was the vets, and so they was like friends. So because I wanted to be a vet, my mum sort of had a chat and sort of got me in, so then I could be like the little assistant for them. And I was like 15, 16, and it really put me off being a vet, to be honest. It was a lot of standing around and people being like, "Oh, I don't want to pay for this," and the vet being like, "Okay, well, you kind of got to," and then being like, "No, you don't want to." It's kind of awkward.
Yeah, that makes for an awkward situation. But if you're the vet, it's not you dealing with it. That's the front desk. But I can understand. Also, there's a lot of injuries and all of that, and I imagine that could be heart wrenching because not every story ends with a happy ending.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, but that's life, I guess.
Yeah.
Right now on YouTube, I'm stuck watching Bondi Vet. So I know, way late show. I know I'm way late to the party on that one, but hey, it's called COVID. What can I say? No, it's because I paint and I'm trying to paint this cat and I'm having issues painting the cat, so I need some background noise. So I've got Bondi Vet going on in the background. Once in a while, I'll catch myself watching this whole show, and I'm like, oh, crap! Look at the time. Well, shoot, I got other things I gotta do now. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. Now, have you ever, since you were an assistant, have you ever walked into a vet and then be like, and know exactly what they're talking about and be like, where this conversation's going?
Do you know, there was a lot of people in denial. So, for example, I've got a story. It's like, this woman came in with a dog and she was like, "Oh, it's scratching or whatever." And the vet was like, "Yes, it's got fleas." The woman just stood there and was like, no, it doesn't. And the vet was like, what do you mean? She's like, it doesn't have fleas. It can't have fleas. And the vet was like, yes, it does. It does have fleas. And no, there's no way it's got fleas. It can't have caught fleas. I give it treatment. It doesn't go anywhere bad. It's not got any fleas. And the vet just had to really delicately explain to her that the dog had fleas and it needed treatment. And she was like, no, you're just after my money. And I just don't understand how that works. Like, why would you deny the diagnosis? I don't get it.
Now, the problem here I'm having with one vet, so I had to switch vets because my cat, they didn't want to do tests, and they would just automatically assume. I have 3 Balinese cats. As you know, purebreds have their slew of health problems, or can have their slew of health problems. Here in Sweden, we have laws to help prevent that, but there are some diseases you really can't prevent. And one is they told us it wasn't mites, so it had to be flea allergies, or not flea allergies, but just food allergies. Is what I was trying to say. And it was like, okay, but aren't you going to run any tests to figure that out? Are you not going to run to see if he's got a virus?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They just said it was food allergies. And it turned out it wasn't. It was he was having an allergic reaction to his. No, I had to find this out from another vet. That he was having reaction to his. Not to sound too vulgar, but to his excrement in the litter box. It was actually he had a bacterial kind of infection on the lining of the stomach, and he was excreting that. And as that sat in the litter box, you clean it out every day, but you can only do so much. So when he was cleaning himself, and licking everything and spreading it, his skin was having a reaction to it.
Yeah.
And so it was just like a constant battle. It's like, you could have just ran a fucking swab, excuse the language. You could have ran a swab and figured that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you?
Yeah.
And it's because they're afraid that people can't pay for it, so they refuse to do some of the services or offer the services that would actually help the animal.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I've been on the flip side of that coin, and it's not very fun. Whereas the vet I'm at now is really money hungry, so he's ready to do everything for me. I was like,
I think that's the thing. Like when I had my rabbits and I brought them in, one of them had GI sepsis. This was quite a long time ago, which is where sort of the digestive tract slows down. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll treat them. And then I was like, so what caused it? And I was like, what do you mean what caused it? We're just going to treat it. And I'm like, well, I'll pay for the test to know what caused it so it didn't happen in the future. And they were surprised that I was willing to pay to have a test on the rabbit because they didn't think most people would be willing to pay to know what had caused it for the rabbit. And I just think it's one of those things where there's so many people coming in that refuse to have the treatment that the vets just become accustomed to people not wanting to do it and therefore they don't do it. I think that's quite
exactly. Yeah, I think that's actually what's happening as well. But also, you have to be careful that the office that you go to isn't training those in school.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful about that too, because you're just a number at that point, and they're trying to rush and train the person, because they're trying to get them as much experience as possible. They can't do that in just one animal. They have to do that in several animals. And that's something we ran into when I was working at the zoo, and that was an issue. And so we would have to actually say, hey, look, this particular area is having an issue with this particular animal. We need Dr. So-and-so. And that was like pulling teeth to get it done. But I mean, like I said, you have to, there's so many variables, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you said they're becoming accustomed to people not wanting to pay or not feeling the need to pay in some cases. It's like, oh God. No, this is the same. Now not the office I'm at now, but the office I was at, they actually pulled this one on me and I was really pissed off. They asked me if I wanted them to call up a colleague to confirm what they thought without running any real tests. They just looked at his eyes and said, well, he has this and it's genetic. It's like, wait, what? You're not going to do a blood sample? Well, we can't do blood samples. We have to go through the spine, and it could be very dangerous. Okay. You do realize he's a purebred, right? And you do realize that if this is an issue, then I have to tell the breeder, and to make sure that this isn't an issue, this isn't that kind of issue, you actually have to run a test. They didn't do it. They didn't want to do it. It was like pulling teeth. And they said that, so later on, they said that now mind you, this is 3 days later, they said they called this person and said, yeah, everything I said to you was right, that this person said that, but here's your bill for that consultation.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I paid almost 900 kroner for a conversation I wasn't even at the office for.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was the biggest red flag on that place that I ever heard of. I was like, wow. I still to this day I still have the copy of that bill just because I think it was hilarious. So I when I told the other place, I'm like, yeah, let's talk names. Let's just focus on your animals now. Like, thanks. Like, and then of course I've got to find out a little bit later that a lot of patients that they have come to this particular office that I'm going to now because of their unsatisfactory care. But on the other flip side, they are cheaper, and that's what I think what's going on is you also have to look at how much you're paying. If they're cheaper, and maybe they're going to start cutting shortcuts and start doing stuff. Oh, okay, so what is the chat talking about now? Because I see her name Marie or Maria because I've been calling her Maria. Like, wait, what? Okay, so Ellie Bug Babies is talking. She was so cute, and I don't swell up to react to hedgehogs like I do small puff balls like the guinea pig and rabbits. Okay. They're talking about hedgehogs. Okay. Now the conversation's good.
I love hedgehogs. Hedgehogs are so cute.
I like hedgehogs too, but I don't think there are any in Sweden. Not that I've seen.
We had an African pygmy hedgehog. She was really cute.
Oh, so cute. So cute. So cute. Now, my next question is, because you've owned rabbits and you're getting guinea pigs tomorrow, and you hopefully fingers crossed. Let's all hope. Oh, Bailey says they're on and off. But my next question is, are you planning on like owning a farm in the future? What are your future plans, kind of thing? What are you?
I wish I could own a farm in the future. Probably not. I would probably have more than average number of animals just because that is what I enjoy doing. Like, I could spend hours and hours just tending to my animals just as like a hobby. Whereas normal people would not want to do that. Like, they would not want to spend hours looking after animals. But a farm, probably not, no. I might like to get a horse, but the horse would have to be livery, so I'd have to like travel to it, look after it. And it wouldn't be my land, it would be sort of like renting for a horse, I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I won the lottery, maybe I'd have a farm. But probably not, realistically.
Hey, we could always dream. We could always dream. Like me dreaming that I'll be able to move to Australia one day. Oh, that's never going to happen, especially since I want to open a tarantula boutique. Because as you know, in Australia, owning tarantulas is illegal. You cannot have anything not native to Australia because they've got so many problems. So I understand the reason why they have their laws. But it would be a really great place to go and visit and go and see for like a couple weeks. Well, I think they have too much to do in just 2 weeks, so probably a month. Yeah. There would go my life savings because they're so expensive.
Do you think we could have a quick break? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your drink ready, Joy?
Another drink, yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Sorry by Yobi. And I cut the song a little too early. I apologize. Did not mean to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are on the Exotics Radio podcast. I am Crax, your host. We've got Lincoln Alvarado, Ellie's Bug Babies. We've got Mark the Spider Guy. Occasionally, we have Bailey's Bug Blog. I think Northern Exotics disappeared on us some time ago. I think the beer took hold. We've got Tony's Tarantula, Stefan Hotup coming in and out, of course. We've got a beautiful bunch of people here with us. And, of course, Jade is not back yet. So we'll just go right into our next song. How would you... Oh, wow. I just totally muted myself. So I was just asking how you guys would like that. We've got the... Oh, let's see. What do we got? We got Eakins by Mo Life. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys are having a drink with us, tell us what you're having a drink with. What are you drinking? Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got children, please put them away, put their ears away, put their eyes away, put them to bed. If it's kind of that late at night. It is 23:13 here in Sweden. So I'm going to guess it is probably 10:13 there in the UK. So where most people are listening from. I don't know what the time it is over in the States because you guys are so big and so many states. So I'm not going to keep up with that. So I hope everybody's having a great night this evening, or maybe morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. I don't judge. But again, if you're having a drink, tell us what you're drinking. Stefan Harp says the kids are long gone with the Z's in the ways. And of course, we've got a lot of people drinking water, and more water. You guys are boring. I'm only kidding. I'm joking. And we got Jade here having a drink with me. What are you drinking now? What are you drinking now? Are you still drinking rum?
Yeah, same as last time. What about you?
Same. Well, I would say the same, but I added Coke. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's the whole point of the songs, is to kind of give us a little break. Again, we're not supposed to really do the standalones, but not really standalone. I'm not playing the whole song, am I? Just leaving off like the 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, cutting it close. And now I know I'm poking the bear, but we'll see how far we can go poking the bear. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the lives will no longer be up. You actually have to be here for the lives. You actually have to be here for the experience. Unfortunately, I would love to have these recordings left, but unfortunately, Epidemic Sound says I got to pay them for partial songs, and I can't pay them for the whole song. And also, I'm supposed to do voiceovers of the songs, so it's supposed to be like the backup. So that's the reason why if you keep looking at the screen and you see your comments put up, I'm adding to my story. I'm adding the letters to the screen to show that I'm adding to give it a better quality. Oh, that was a mouthful. Of course, I'm always a mouthful. Wait, that didn't come out right. That really did not come out right. But anyway, I was trying to say I always say a lot. Gosh dang it. I'm putting the room away after this. I'm only joking.
When I have a sip of my drink, can you hear me swallow?
Wait, what? Did you just say you... Go ahead.
If I have a sip of my drink, can you hear me swallow? I'm just making sure you can.
Okay. Yay! Yeah, I'm not the only one who's saying bad things now. Now we all know no cracks like a mouthful. Thanks, Ellie. I appreciate that. Oh.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I think we've concluded our interview, but now, if you don't mind, we could actually have people come up with questions. They could actually come on the show, talk to you for a few minutes if you're okay with that.
Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will hit the invite button. I will post it.
Ellie's with babies. Jay wants to hear it. I don't. That's the point. I don't want you to hear me swallow. Oh god. I was self-conscious of it, so I was like, should I ask? Make sure that it's not... Oh dear.
Oh yeah, no. Now the Pandora box has been opened. We've got Bailey's bug, Ellie's bug babies. We have Lincoln, and we have Stefan. And let's not forget Mark, the spider guy. Oh yeah, no, we've got a Gru in here now. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, we are definitely in trouble now. Oh my goodness. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want, you feel free to call up, feel free to come on the show for just a little bit. We're not going to stay for too long. We've got only about 45 minutes left of the show. But now it's time for the questions, the Q&A, and of course the music. We're going to play a little bit more music because it's exotic radio. It's what we're here for. We're here for the exotic stock and the radio. Can't live without the music, damn it. This is why I'm trying so hard to find a good company that will allow me just to pay them and then be able to play the songs as I wish. I don't mind paying for the songs individually as long as I don't have to pay up to $200-300 per song. That's 2,000 to 3,000 kroners or 200 to 300 euro. I mean, it's mind-boggling how expensive these songs are.
Yeah.
I'm getting to understand why radios actually charge up the wazoo for their advertisements is to cover the price of the song to be able to play it and to keep permission to play the songs. That's pretty mind-boggling. But yeah, life happens. So yeah, we have no takers tonight. I'm impressed. Of course, we don't have our normal. Usually, Scott's Inverts is usually on. We usually have a lot livelier crew on, and I'm impressed that Scott's not on. Scott hasn't been on for a couple of weeks actually. He was here last week for a short bit of time, but that wasn't too long. I'm glad Northern Exotics jumped on. That was actually pretty nice of him.
I
But
might share to my story. If anyone wants to jump on.
yeah, how is everybody to share the story? I can't share the story. I can't. I don't have the button for the community. How has everybody else got a button to community and I don't?
I can't share a link or anything, but I can be like, hey, come over to this channel and watch it. So that's about it.
Yeah, but still, you get a community. I don't. I do not have that button. I do not have that button for in the community, which kind of sucks. I'm like, wait, what? Why? I want to play too. But yeah, I mean, Scott's Inverse has a community button. But to get a community button, Scott probably looking after his missus. Yeah, I think so too. I think he's been working really hard. You can even see it in some of his shows. You can see it's wearing on him a little bit. He's not as energetic. Nothing bad about that. It's just you can actually see it. So I think he's really, really concerned over Tara, which by all means, I completely 100% support. He treats her like I hate to say it, but he treats her like a princess, and I think that's how he should. If he feels like he needs to treat her like that, he should, kind of thing. It works in their dynamic really well, and I'm rooting for both of them. I think you need 1,000 subs. Actually, it's 10,000 subs, Lincoln. To get to be able to community, you need 10,000 subs. So I'm trying to figure out how in the world they actually got a community, which is beyond me. But let's try and do the 100 subs so I can do a face reveal. Ophi Spiderswork is back. So we got Stefan Harop back from coming back and forth. We've got Ophi Spiderverse. Ophi's dad is still working. Chat's gone quiet. Yeah, we started talking about swallowing, and I guess they wanted to hear it. So we should play with some more music.
It's good. I think I've just posted on my Instagram if anyone wants to know. We'll see if anyone goes.
Nice. Ellie's Bug Baby says that she needs 250 subs to do a giveaway. Awesome. They got scared. They got frightened. All right. Well, I'm going to do a song. Maybe we can try to draw some more people in, share the show a little bit more, because we got about a half hour to go before we kill the lights, before we leave, before we say goodbye.
I'll shout it out on whatever social media I've got and see if I can get people to come for us.
I've already tried to shout out to everybody that I know, so I'm kind of at a loss. I'm kind of like my hands are tied. We're gonna play something new called Scootaloo. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That was Scootaloo by Yobi. Definitely go check out his work. Oh my goodness. So we've got a long night ahead of us. A lot of people. Oh, some people are complaining. Crax with a mouthful and Jade swallowing. People are scared.
no.
Yes. Apparently Ellie's on the ball. We've got Ellie on the ball now. When you stuck it together in one sentence. Yes. Yes. So now we can definitely say to the people who've missed the show tonight that, you know, I had a mouthful and Jay was swallowing. Just say that. Just leave out the rest of the details. I just want to know honest reactions. That'd be hilarious. Oh, Liga says to unlock the community, you will need 1,000 subscribers. Once you reach that target, it may take up a week before you can have access to it. YouTube should send you a notification when you unlock. Oh, they dropped it because it used to be 10,000. It used to be 10,000 subscribers to be part of the community.
Yeah, I think I tried to make a community post, but when I tried to tag you in it, it wouldn't come up with anyone. So, who really do it?
Oh, no, now everybody here, I've got a secret that I've learned from a very close friend of mine and how to grow your channel immensely. Now, I'm sorry that Scott's not here. So if you guys don't know who, I know most everybody here knows who Scott Inverts is, but definitely go check out Scott Inverts. The guy showed me a lot of love, so I got to show him a lot of love and respect. So I'm sorry he's not here to hear this, and I'm sorry that Northern Exotics is not here to see this or hear this, but there is a way to use the algorithm to your advantage to grow your channel. So that's why I'm kind of in a hurry to get on the community, because I really want to see if this really, really works. Because I've seen it work for other people. I want to see if it works for myself. What they do is they post a poll. Believe it or not, the algorithm will actually show polls to people who are looking at polls. It doesn't matter what the poll subject is. It just means it's a poll. And so you post a poll saying it's something silly. Like in my case, what is your favorite tarantula? List 5 tarantulas and then wait for the polls to come in. That's how people are growing their channel, because as the one guy did the numbers, thousands of people were seeing this post. 5% of thousands, and take, 15, 20,000 people. Let's say 20,000 people for a good example. 5% were actually subscribing to his channel. And these people had never even heard of him. So that's how he used it in less than 6 months to get almost 1 million views. Yeah, no, it's amazing. So that is how the algorithm works. So if you can use the algorithm to your advantage, do it. Just post a poll on your community. Go to your community, post a poll, and you have to do it for at least 2 weeks in a row. And you'll see the because you have to post a poll. Oh, it's like every other day or something for 2 weeks or something like that. And his channel grew exponentially. So definitely give it a try.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever done a poll before.
But that's how you see why in the beginning, before they started doing the community, you only saw a few people with millions of followers. Now you have just about, I think it was like 6,000 people who had 1 million followers or something like that. Still a very small number, but yeah, it's like huge. Many people are playing what they call the poll game or the algorithm game. And it's like for 2 weeks, for every other day, and you'll watch your channel like grow. And these people never heard of you. They'll just like say for your channel they want to see the snails, or they want to see the rabbits, or they see something catching a part of your channel. They don't care if they get what do you call it? A notification. So your views might be down. So you're gonna have to work on your content. But you don't really have to. I love your content. I'm just gonna say, but if you wanted to like catch those 5% that are not looking at your videos but just signed up, then you work on your content to gear towards them a little bit, and then you do another poll, and then you do another poll, and just a little bit, and adjust a little bit between. And it's called playing the algorithm game.
Yeah, because I have seen a lot of people that use the polls. Like they'll use it consecutively. No.
That's why. That is why.
Yeah.
It's a trade secret. Shh, don't tell anyone.
So Ellie, look more into that.
Yeah, no, it's a really huge way to grow a channel, and that's why if you go onto community and you say, hey, follow this channel and do it for yourself, put up your channel, then everybody who wants to find new channels will see that. It's not the content itself, it's those who want to see the new channels, or those, and like I said, those to do polls. You just have to do one poll, and then YouTube shoves a bunch of polls down your throat. So that's how the algorithm game it's played. And that's why, and there's a reason why YouTube is doing it, is because they're charging so much for the advertisers. So the more people that get more rewards, get more advertisers, the more advertisers there are, the more money they make. So they're getting more money to pay for you, who are getting the views. So that's why they call it the monetization. So it's a whole number game. It's a pure number game, and they're coming way out on top, and they are. But as a friend of mine did, he really did. He did the numbers, and he even posted a YouTube video about it, how he broke the internet, how he broke YouTube. And it worked out really well for him. Now I'm hoping, like I said, to do the same thing. So when he did it, though, it was 10,000 followers, and I was like, gosh, dang it. It's 10,000 followers. How am I going to do this? But yeah, when you said you see a lot of people doing the polls, they're playing the number game. They're playing the YouTube game.
Yeah, I see it now. Interesting. I'm going to take tips.
So that was the best kept secret on YouTube right now. Play your polls. So it's just really, really hard to get that 1,000. Well, in this case, the 1,000, but at the beginning it was 10,000. It was really, really hard to get that 10,000. But then they started realizing if they can get more people up to the million followers, then they could start doing the advertisements, which gets them more money. So they needed to play something. They needed to do something to get the ball rolling. And like I said, it's a pure number game. That's the reason why my sister said, hey, if you want to get your more followers, start. Because of all the requests. This isn't just her saying this, but this is because of all the requests I've been getting. It's to do at least one episode on animals in general. Do a podcast on just pet keeping, and not just exotic pet keeping in general. So Exotics Radio will have, for Comfy Pants Wednesday, we'll have pet keeping. Doesn't matter what pet. Doesn't, if it's cat, dog, horse, cow, chicken, snake, tarantula, it really doesn't matter. We just do pet. So yeah, I think it'll be a really different. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't be reading comments, but I did. I made the sin to drink and read comments. Oh, it's me and my speech gaps, I swear. And me and my stutters. That's one thing I noticed when I drink a little bit. My stutters start to come back, and it took me years and years when I was a kid to get rid of it. It's just kind of annoying. Bailey's Bugbox says, can always message me on Facebook channel if you need help with stuff. That would be great, Bailey, but I don't know what your Facebook is. I just got it. I just created it for Exotics Radio. Ellie Bug Baby says that she doesn't know how to do the polls. I don't know either. I haven't done it. But you've seen people do polls. Is there a particular way to do polls?
Yeah, well, it's just like they give options. I've just tried to see what you do, and when I try to do it, it's not like a little graph at the bottom, and if you press the graph, it says add option. So I'm guessing those are the polls, and then you type in what you want, and then it comes up. Because I've never done a poll either, so I'm not really sure what I'm talking about. But
Okay.
when you go on and click the graph, I think it gives you options, and you can add another option. So then all of the options of the different polls, and then you can post it. I think that is what you can do. But I'm not entirely sure because I've never done one myself.
And now we have Bailey calls that, oh, that's pole dancing. That's what I mean by when I read the chat, I'm my eyes. My poor virgin eyes. Bailey's Bug Blog also goes on to add, I get messages on Instagram direct to Facebook. That's pretty good. But like I said, I really would love to start messaging people and talking to people and getting friends on Facebook.
A
Probably
lot of
because
people.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of people on Facebook. I don't use Facebook for my social media. Maybe I should start.
I hated Facebook. I avoided it for so many freaking years. And then I meet this group of people who are like, get Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah. I don't have Facebook. Whenever somebody's like, add me on Facebook, I'm like, no, I don't have it. Well, I mean, I've got it, but I don't go on it. But it's like a personal Facebook as well, so I wouldn't follow people on my social media.
It's so toxic. It really is. And not to mention the stalkers. People don't just leave nasty comments anymore. They stalk you. It's like, oh my gosh. It's, don't get me started. Okay. I'm started now. So what is the definition of a stalker? Anybody?
It follows everything you do, I suppose, I don't know.
Not just follows, but they invade. They invade your personal space without with or without you knowing. They're also, following you around. They're watching you all the time. They're very disturbed people. So what do the haters on Facebook do? They follow you around. They watch everything you do. They invade your personal and private space with or without you knowing. Isn't it just exactly like stalking?
Mm-hmm.
So
pretty similar.
They're stalkers. Yeah, the thing is, it's just like, I always see people talking about the drama on Facebook, and I'm like, what drama? Because I just entered Facebook just a couple of days ago, and I'm sitting here thinking, what drama? And then I start seeing it a little bit here and a little bit there, in some of the posts of the one community that has accepted me, because all the other communities have not accepted me. Just one.
The recent drama that I've seen is from the Widow's Web. Do you know the Widow's Web? Black Widow's Web.
No.
Somebody had talked about her in a group chat, and it was not very nice. And she said to avoid them, but she didn't name them. I'm desperate to know who it was so that I can avoid them too. But I don't want to ask. There's a bit of gossip.
You don't want to get names, and especially on a show. You don't want to get names mixed. No. But yeah, no, it's I completely I get where you're coming from. But I also, as a podcaster, I also get where she's coming from. Because if you call them out, then the people that support them will only get her side of the story. People who support you will only listen to your side of the story. Mm-hmm. And there's nobody asking what really happened. And like I said, with my podcast, I have a lot to lose. So I don't call people out. I don't call names out. Unless it's to support a company. And I only support companies that I actually personally support. So I don't lose it on it. Mm-hmm. Now, like I said, she may have like a business or something going on. She may have a lot to lose. So her not calling somebody out. And the thing is, then I've noticed some people, when you have people like her who don't call out names, they get on their soapbox and then they're like, well, why don't you call them out? What you say is not true if you don't call them out. It's like, wait a minute. So you have an argument, you want to vent a little, I understand that, but you don't want to make things worse. So people are looking down on the fact that you don't want to make things worse. okay. With that kind of person, you can't win no matter what. So it's like you don't entertain them.
Mhm.
Ignore. There has to be an ignore button on Facebook. Just hit the ignore button and use it freely. Ignore
Yeah.
everybody. Just be a indiscriminate ignorer.
It's
Everybody's on ignore.
conspiracy.
Okay, so Bailey, okay, Ellie says she would love to learn pole dancing, of course. Bailey's Bug Blog says, for the hobby related stuff, I actually prefer Instagram chat. Again, Instagram has been a really good choice, but I keep telling people they are two different companies, even though they are owned by the same company, two different entities owned by the same company. Let's put it that way. So you have two types of offices running. And Instagram actually has permission to use Facebook's name because they have a different type of messenger. That's the reason why Facebook has Messenger and you're supposed to be able to use Messenger like Instagram. But Instagram is Instagram, even though it is funded, or as you could say, people go, it is Facebook. No, it's not Facebook. Look at the numbers and look at how they are ran. They're completely different. The laws are completely different on how they're ran. So, they share same name, but that's like saying you have two McDonald's, right? McDonald's does not own McDonald's. The owners own McDonald's. The owners pay to use McDonald's name. They pay to use their menus. They pay to use their items. And McDonald's supports them by sending them the items. Now, does that make McDonald's owning them? No. They own the franchise, but they do not own the company that owns the plot. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of how Facebook and Instagram are ran. That's why they're ran very differently.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie says, I'm always on Facebook, still figuring out Instagram and Twitter. Good luck with that, Ellie. You're light years ahead of me on that one. Mark the Spider Guy says, I would love to see you pole dance, Ellie. Oh, my eyes, my virgin eyes. Lincoln's like, oh my God. Oh, my eyes. Yes, my eyes. I need another drink. We could use another song. Do you want another song?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you see how nice and relaxed this is?
Yeah.
apologize for cutting the song a little early, but blame Epidemic Song. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like the stream, if you like what we do here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You know, do what you can. Hit that share button. I love the shares. I'm doing a mini workout a minute. Okay. So Ellie's Bug Baby will come and join us. I will say this much. We do have 15 minutes left of the show. We can only do 3 hours. No more doing this 4-hour stuff. 4 hours is way too much. But if you guys do want an after party, definitely hook us up with something. We could do like on a Twitch or something like that. But my hours on StreamYard are pretty narrowed, pretty limited because I can't afford the subscription yet. And again, when I do the 100 100 subscriber face reveal, what I will be doing is I will be doing a Patreon, or not Patreon. It's like not a GoFundMe. Is it GoFundMe? I know it's something the artists and stuff have been doing on. They've been moving away from one and moving to the other. And I don't think it's GoFundMe. Is it? Maybe it's Kickstarter. I think Kickstarter is the one that they're moving away from. I know, again, I don't know everything, so I'll have to ask a friend of mine, but yeah, I'll be setting up some sort of patronage. Mainly because I'm broke, and if you like the show, you will have to start paying for it a little bit. It's expensive. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Lincoln is like, oh my god, help.
What do you need help with?
I think he needs help because he's thinking of Ellie, pole dancing. Ellie's not bad. She's quite good looking. I admit I'm quite jealous of her looks. She's very pretty. And she's got a good looking tight body. So I'm sorry, but as a woman, I'm a bit jealous. I got the jealousy bug here. But then I look down on my chest and I see what God has given me all natural, and then I don't cry so much. Oh, what happens when we're drunk and it's late? Thanks, radio. Oh gosh. Mark is like, Ellie is lovely. Oh, she is. She's quite lovely, and so are you, as well.
Watched. I've seen your previous podcasts where Ellie's come on, so I was like, Ellie should come on. I want to talk to Ellie.
You say it much more nice. You say it more nicer than I do. And thanks, Crax. So no, I love this. I love our group of people. We get to sit down, we get to chat, we get into the more of adult subjects as the night goes on. We did an incredible interview. Thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you for accepting. I really appreciate it. As I grow, I'm going to have you on again. That's my goal, is to eventually start having getting a bit bigger, and then having everybody come back, because then I would have new listeners, and then it'd be kind of like a reintroduction to them, to the old listeners, and an introduction to the new listeners. Again, like I said, it's just basically saying thanks, because this channel would not grow without the people to be interviewed. I'm sorry, but my views drop dramatically whenever people cancel and they don't show up, or they just canceled last minute, and it just like,
it must be so frustrating to like organize something and then
oh, it absolutely is. And then just have them not show up is like, oh, and then never answer one of my messages again. It's like, really? You could have just lied and said, hey, I'm busy, I'm sorry, and then be done with it, and told me a day beforehand or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to hound you down. It's not like I'm going to actually beg you to be on the show. If you can't make it, you can't make it. It's a done deal. I would really love it. There are some people I would really love to have on the show. Northern Exotics is one of them. I've had him on the show for a little bit before he had to run away to go see his missus. And then Bug Realms is the other one. I would really love to have him on the show, but again, both of them are hardworking and they're both very, very busy with their own channels and their own things. So to find an hour or two to come on the show is kind of hard, actually, to be honest. I completely understand that. Mark says, I will come back, Crax, Wednesday. Thank you so much, Mark. I'm trying to get Mark on the show as well. Mark knows quite a bit, actually.
Mark, you're not coming on? You do not want to come on?
Mark should come on. But yeah. Lincoln Alvarado says, I have a question for you. Do you have any dream pets? That's actually a pretty good question. You go first.
Oh, me. Dream pet, a black and white Argentine tegu, but I would never have the space for that in this house. So it is definitely just a dream and not something that I would ever get because they need like a literal room that is like kitted out for humidity and UVB. So I would not be able to do that because they're like a 3 to 4.5 foot lizard. That's really big, and you couldn't really buy a vivarium that was big enough.
No. Well, I mean, if you, I don't know why you don't want to go bigger. You could also do monitors like the Nile monitor. Then you're looking at 5. You're looking at about a 1.5 meter beast. So 4 or 5 meter beast. So yeah, that's massive, or not 4 or 5 meter, but one 4 or 5 foot beast. They're huge. They're astronomical. They're heavy as hell. Not 1.5 meter. I'm tripping. It's not 1.5 meter. that is way too big. No, they're like they get about 4 or 5, and they get about. Let me do the math here. Sorry. So I know the metric system in the inches, but I would like to do the metric system. They're about a 0.5 meter big. That's what I was trying to say.
Hello.
Kelly? There you are.
Hello?
There was just like a little bit of silence. I was like,
I'm just trying to set up my chat on the iPad so I don't miss the chat.
oh yeah, no problem.
So
Take your time.
I'll be done now. It's only a click of a button.
Oh yeah. No.
There you go. All done. Whoop, whoop.
Yay!
So I made it.
Yes! Yay! Now you were drinking earlier, so what were you drinking earlier?
Sambuca. I had like just one little bit and then I was like, I don't even feel like drinking this.
When you say drink Sambuca, do you just have it straight?
Yeah. How else are you supposed to drink it?
Well, that's the thing. I don't really know. But I was just thinking I could not just sit there drinking straight Sambuca.
I love Sambuca.
It makes my teeth hurt.
Then there's lots of different flavors.
It tastes nice, but it makes my teeth hurt. The next morning, I'm like, ow, my teeth.
It's because it's so sweet.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Yeah,
you
no,
can
it
get
is
other ones which
sweet.
isn't so sweet.
Yeah, if it's too sweet, you could also cut it.
How do you cut it? How do you cut Sambuca?
Add something to it, not drink it straight.
I added Coke once to Sambuca. I can't say it was a success.
No, that's you're adding sugar to more sugar. What are you thinking? You're just making it sweeter.
Not great, to be honest.
No, I can imagine not. Oh, but you could add like a club soda that has no sugar.
Mm.
And that way you get the fizzy part of it as well. Didn't think about that, though, did you?
I don't really know if I like to mix any of my drinks. I either have them how they come or I have them how they come. If I'm going to mix it, I'll have it how it comes. And then I'll have Coke or something after. Not in the same glass. I think the only thing I have mixed is like a pina colada from TGI Fridays because they're frozen and they're really nice.
I like a strawberry daiquiri myself. They're quite
Oh, I
nice.
don't eat strawberry, so I don't have no clue what that is. The only strawberry drink that I've had is the strawberry wine from Kenya, and oh my god, that makes you drunk.
Can't put it down, can you? So Ellie, question. Lincoln asked what would be your dream pet. So what would be your dream pet?
As in, dream like you were dreaming, but it can't become real, or a dream that can become real.
Both.
Or
A
something
dream
that you've
that
always
can
wanted.
become real, that I always want, but I know I can't have one. It would be a giraffe, because there's not enough space to fit a giraffe in my property, and unless I have some sort of safari, then I would never be able to have a giraffe.
It's a great choice.
But
An
if
awesome
it's
choice.
to own, I don't know, to own, probably an otter or a hedgehog. Because all the
Oh,
hedgehogs
cute.
we have here, like you have to phone up the vets and then they get registered and they go back into the wild because they're becoming endangered.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing that. I didn't know they were coming endangered.
Yeah, it's illegal to keep them if they're actually from here, because they're like their houses and their habitats where they live is becoming so bad, their populations are reducing. So if you do catch them in your garden and stuff like that, and if they're not going back to their natural like surroundings, you're allowed to keep them like just for a little bit while you report them, and then they're tagged and then they're like watched where they're going so they can keep an eye on the populations.
Oh, okay.
But they're
That's
doing
actually.
similar things with the common frog as well, because that's seriously endangered in the UK.
Oh, poor baby.
So
Oh, Bailey's bragging he has off tomorrow. So I don't understand why Bailey's not drinking if he has tomorrow off. I'm calling him out now.
I agree.
We've got 3 women up on here. We're all but Ellie. Ellie had drinks earlier, so she still counts. We've all been drinking. What's wrong with you, Bailey? Are you feeling okay? Do you have the flu?
I think for me is because I've been working out so much and I've been doing the garden. I think if it was beer, I'd be able to drink it no problem. But shorts, when you've been busy and you're working, I don't think they register in my body so well.
I completely concur and agree with you on that. Especially when you work stuff off and you're like, okay, if I have something, I get a little lightheaded easier. Mark the Spider Guy says, thank you, Andrew. The tea was sure. I was glad to think it's okay. What? Oh, are they still talking about the animal? I guess I don't know. No, the dream animal I want a Savannah cat. Unfortunately, the F1, which is the first generation, you cannot have in Sweden. It's illegal because it's considered taking the animal out of the wild. But I would really love an F1 here in Sweden, but unfortunately, you can't have one. That and they're extremely and painfully expensive. My soul would cry as soon as I thought about paying for one. I don't care how much money I'd have my soul would still cry because they're super expensive. But they're beautiful and they're easy to care for. You just have to keep them on a workout regimen so they don't tear up your house. You have to keep them busy 90% of the time. They're excellent in a lot of ways. You can't have small pets, and generally you cannot have small pets for very obvious reasons. The cat's huge. But yeah, I mean, I just absolutely would love to have one. Now, my question to you guys is: have you guys found a moth farm for your tarantulas?
A what? Sorry.
A moth farm, a moth breeder, someone who breeds moths.
Moths.
Yep, like the little furry thing that Ellie's afraid of.
I've had moths grow before because of what are they called? Silkworms? Are they silkworms? What is the moth that grows out of? Is it silkworms?
Oh, the caterpillars. Yeah, silkworms. Silkworms is the silk moth. Yes, they're moths. That's right.
Yeah, I've had some of those before for my praying mantis. I've never really seen a moth breeder.
Oh, there's actually I found one in Sweden, and I'm looking so forward to buying some moths off him at the end of summer and feeding them to my tarantulas.
What kind of moths is that?
Just as regular, we have them common here. It's kind of like a common grayish moth. We have them everywhere here. It's kind of like a wood moth kind of thing.
I don't necessarily think we normally feed as like feeders of like moths unless it's a silk moth. But like we can get like atlas moths and stuff.
Oh no, I would never feed it. I would never feed an endangered species to my tarantula.
It's too expensive, yeah.
That is so wrong in so many levels.
Yeah, I don't think we really use moths as feeders, except for maybe a silkworm that goes into a moth.
Well, the thing is, they don't really have a nutritional value, so basically, it's just a snack. But it gives. See, Ellie says moths are scary. I don't know why she's silent, but why is she no taki? But the thing is, with giving them stimulation, something to chase, something to hunt and pounce, just like I would do with the hoppers.
Like
they
some
work
extra enrichment.
Exactly. It's really fun to watch. I think it'd be great to give them something to really be stimulated by, because especially the pokies, they actually have to come out of the little hidey hole to have to actually hunt the animal. But it can do your tarantula no harm. And if you get it from an actual breeder, there's no mites.
Yeah, that's quite good.
So I mean, it's like a win-win. You cannot lose with a moth giving them to your arboreals. With your terrestrials, I wouldn't recommend it because a moth wants to climb upward.
Never reach them.
Exactly. But your arboreals, arboreals are made for animals like moths that fly, so that they have the means to grab the food.
Yeah. I think a lot of people. Also,
go ahead.
I think a lot of people use like hornworms, don't they, in like YouTube videos and stuff, those big blue ones, and you can't get them in the UK.
Gummy worms.
Yeah, gummy worms.
Yeah, we have them in Sweden, but you have to order them special. And then you have to write down the reason why you get them, because they can become invasive here in Sweden. My chat was behind. Oh, okay. Bailey's having issues. Ellie, you really do think moths are scary. Why do you think moths are scary, Ellie?
Do I really have to tell you?
Yes.
Okay, when I was little, not too little, about 10, then I was on holiday and like we were camping, and they have like these toilets which are just, and the toilets have shower cubicles in them, but they're just like stone, like outhouse buildings. And when you turn the light on, all the moths just come fluttering all around you, and it just made my skin crawl ever since. And they had really scary big ears, and it was awful.
They do kind of look like they're staring at you, don't the moths?
Yeah, but when they're all over you, like you're infested with them, it is awful.
Oh, I can imagine that could be terrifying for a kid. But for an adult like me, it'd be fun. But for a child, I can see how that could be actually pretty terrifying.
I never went back to that campsite after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now know the truth. Ellie, you feed your dragon crane flies.
Yeah, because in the summer, because I have the river right at the back of my house, like they're constantly in my house. My house becomes infested with crane flies. So we have them sticky fly tapes all over the ceilings. But when I catch them with my hands, I stick them in with Maxie, because Maxie goes crazy if she sees them, and she'll be scratching all over the glass. like jumping at the glass and everything just to get them. So I catch them and chuck them in there, and she chases them around and just eats them. It's so funny.
That sounds like fun, to be honest.
Yeah, but the way she goes at the glass, honestly, you'll think she does some damage to herself if she keeps doing it.
Oh, wow.
You let her out, she'll climb on the sofa, she'll climb on the furniture, and she thinks she can fly, and she's still only little.
That's a lot. All right. Actually, I think let me see. Yeah, it's actually time. We are past 3 hours now, so I'm gonna close the chat. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna go good night. Mainly because I have to manage my hours. Oh, I have to
Well,
only do
Crax,
5 hours a week.
if you ever need extra hours, let me know, because I don't use my hours. I don't even like do live streams very often. I'll be doing once, I think every 3 or 4 weeks, just on a Sunday.
Yeah, I don't even live stream. This is the first one that I've ever done.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty relaxing when you don't have a video in your face. You just kind of have to chill out. You could have just loaded up your logo for your chat.
Oh yeah,
Like-
I've not got one, have I? Just a little ominous little silhouette.
So yeah, next time, yeah, like you said, I'd love to have you on next time or whenever you're around. You're more than welcome to come back on the show at any time. You're more than welcome to say, "Hey, let me on." I'm like, oh, "Okay." Just pretty much like I do Ellie. I love Ellie. I love having Ellie on. It's great. She's awesome in every shape possible. Stefan Harp says, "Good night, everyone." Mark says, "Moths have big ears."
I think
LOL.
you're sarcastic because I said they had scary big ears.
Yeah, they have antennas. They can't really hear.
Yeah, I know, but I'll have to get a picture of this moths. It comes. They was in Tenby, well, not Tenby. It's called Pembroke, but it's not far from Tenby. And when you look at them, they kind of almost look like horsey ears rather than antennas. I don't know what kind of moth it is. I don't even know what it's called. But I never managed to get that sight out of my eyes ever.
Actually, if I think what did I think it is, it might be, what is that stupid moth called? Oh, they love rotting wood too, and I can't think of the dang name of them. But they have the reason why their ears are shaped like that is because then they can actually hear bats coming, so they can avoid getting eaten by a bat.
That would explain why there was a lot of them there, because there was a lot of bats there too.
Well,
I
the
don't
bats
mind
feel
bats. I
annoying.
think bats are cute.
Oh, bats are awesome. Bats are super cute. Disease carriers, but still super cute.
Yeah, but
So,
there's
ladies and
lots of
gentlemen,
animals that carry diseases, to be fair. Rats are the
That's
worst, I
true.
think.
No, actually, that's not true. That's they've actually discovered that rats. They're actually discovering rats never really carried the plague. It was human, because it was traveling too fast.
To be fair, with all the studies that they did, it was the fleas that were on the rats.
No, actually, they're starting to figure out slowly it was human to human contact.
Oh well, I still don't like rats. I'm scared of them too. They're okay if
I
they're
love rats.
box or
Rats are
behind,
great.
but not if they're running free. I won't go outside if they're running free, or if I do go outside, I will look like I'm on stealth shitting myself.
No, rats can actually be pretty terrifying, but they can also be pretty cute. I'm kind of on the fence when it comes to rats because
Have you ever seen the movie Rats? It's old. It's about 40 or 50 years old. Came out when my nan and gramps were kids.
no. But
Watch
have you seen
that,
a
you'll
Viking
never
rat?
like rats again.
Have you seen a Viking rat?
No.
I'll send. I'll put a link. I'll put a link down.
I think the only kind of rats that I like are the ones that come frozen, and then you could just feed them and it's fine. They don't cause any drama at all.
I think they're called the Northern Europe rat, actually, to be honest.
Oh, they're huge. I like Gambian pouch rats.
All right, so you found it.
I googled a Viking rat and it's very big.
Oh yeah, no, the super rat. It's one of the super rat species. But yeah, a man found one coming out of his toilet.
Oh.
Yeah,
I had to
he
have my original patio taken up because rats made tunnels under my patio to go to my next door neighbour's garden. It was awful.
Yeah, no.
Bye, Mac.
Bye, Mark. Yes, family in Sweden was terrified of a huge rabbit in their home. It was 15 inches long. Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't exactly small, and it was. Oh, well, it was a washing machine, not a toilet. Sorry, I apologize. It was attempting to chew through the water. But yeah, no, we have a northern rat that gets pretty big. Yeah,
pretty much chew for anything, can't they?
Well, the thing is, Sweden isn't known to have rats. We were trying to figure out which country it decided to come from. So we're thinking it swam the ocean, but we just don't know from what direction. We don't know if it was Norway or Finland, because in Denmark, it's not a species from Denmark. That's why it's dubbed the Viking rat. So it swam an entire ocean.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came in on a boat.
No, actually, our boats are scrubbed down clean and highly inspected.
Yeah, now but in the olden days, they wasn't that good as they are now.
No, these rats didn't start popping up until after World War. So, but we really think because of the actual activity, it either came from Finland or Norway. Either way, it is still a Viking. So it's straight up Viking rat. Go Viking rats. So yeah.
They're still scary.
Let's not give Ellie any more nightmares. So anyways, thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you everybody for being on the show. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for sharing the show. I appreciate everybody being here. You guys are great. Again, I can't express how much thanks I have for Ellie and Jade for being here. It's just wonderful. This show would not be here without you guys, really. Ellie's smartass, and of course Jade being here for the interview. So thank you so much. And I know it sounds so weird for somebody to be thankful for somebody being a smartass, but Ellie's got this special, wonderful presence. I just really love it. Again, it's a show. It would probably just be like a bunch of dead air with some songs if it wasn't for Ellie.
Oh, thank you. I hold myself in such high regard, but that's nice.
I do. I had you in a lot of high regard.
I always thought I was pretty boring, to be fair.
No, you're not boring at all. So again, thank you everybody for being on the show, and I appreciate it. So without further ado, Hado, and good night.
Good night.
Thanks for having us. Thanks. Night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.